What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Liberal Loudmouth. Real quick, I'm not sure if I turned my video on. Let me open up a YouTube clip or something.
And crazy in the...
Okay, it is working. Anyway, welcome in, guys. What's up? Sorry I'm running a little bit late today. I had a lot of things to download. What's up, Raw? Welcome in. Good morning. Let me get in here and share my shit out. Testing mic check. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, Raw. Actually, my brain is like so scatterbrained. I was downloading all kinds of videos this morning. I just kept seeing these wonderful videos of Jake Lang being treated as Jake Lang should be treated. I guess after seeing some of the things I've seen from that fucking guy, like I don't know. And then the hypocrisy of these people is just wild to me. Absolutely wild. Well, let me jump in here real quick and share my shit. Yes, Norway, blah, blah, blah. All right. Let me go in here. And yeah, because yesterday they said they couldn't share. I'm probably not going to do a full show today either, guys. It's probably just going to be 2 or 3 hours. I've got some things I've got to get done. We are live. Sweet. All right, guys, if you're just getting in, we're just getting started. So, start tapping, do all the things that you know to do, share it out. Trump's speech was so fucking embarrassing. I agree, Raw. It was weird. I started to watch it and I just couldn't. Like, it was so hard. It was so cringy listening to this man. I'm like, okay, I've got, eyebrows to pluck and eyelashes to pull, that I would rather be doing that instead of listening to this man. It's pretty wild. What's up, Happy Gardner? Welcome in, Jeromeo. I like that name. That's funny. You've been following for quite a while. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Grandpa is just confused. Yeah, I listened to it all. Don't ask me how. Oh my God. Yeah. So, like, did anything come from that Raw? Because I started to watch it and I was like, I fucking can't. I just couldn't. He just starts like rambling and just shit comes out of his mouth. I don't even know if he knows what he's saying half the time. It's weird. This man is fucking weird. I saw him like putting up like pictures of all of these, criminals. I'm like, you got a stack of maybe 20 people. It's not like Democrats have said, immigrants don't ever commit any crimes. There's no immigrant that you could ever find that has committed a crime. Nobody's ever said that. But like putting in militarized forces into the fucking cities and then acting like now you got Republicans out there. Yeah, but Obama did it. You don't remember Obama? I got this video. Let me play this fucking lady. Like it's kind of strange. I was actually going to play this a little later, but since I brought that up, this is probably a good time to do it. Hopefully I fucking sent it to myself. Yeah, here we go. This is it. This crazy fucking shit sucker. Let me pull this over here on this side. And put it up here. All right. I feel like I'm craning my neck to see this monitor. Let me move it down a little bit. All right, here. Let's full screen this biatch. And OBS. Let me screen with video. That is so weird. It's not going across to the other side. That's so weird. Anyway, here we go. Let me play this lady.
Memories are. Under Obama administration, 56 people died under ICE custody. 56. That's not a conspiracy. That's public record. According to the ACLU, under Obama, under ICE, failures of medical care, ICE malpractice. The list is long as to why and how these deaths occurred. And somehow, no mass riots. Obama deported over 3 million people. Let's not forget that, people. I say that in so many of my videos. Millions. And a lot of them.
Spill the tea, 5507.
No hearing, no judge, no full due process. And here's the part liberals don't like to bring up. Tom Homan? Yeah, that Tom Homan? He was running enforcement under Obama. And during that time, he was given an award back in 2015 for his work with ICE.
And so, like, they tell you this for you to somehow, just ignore that we have militarized ICE agents in the streets, beating the fuck out of U.S. citizens, arresting U.S. citizens left and right, going into their homes, dragging them out in like negative 10-degree fucking weather with underwear and fucking Crocs. Like, yeah, but Obama did it, so it must be okay. And not to mention that Democrats were protesting Obama for that very fucking same thing. So, you know, these people that they make it up as they go along, right? We've got this Gunther Eagleman. Let me pull this shit up. This video is pretty funny. He posts this video. If I could find the damn thing, where did I put it? Yeah, right here. He posts this video.
Oh, okay.
I'll play the video first, and then I'll show you what Gunther says. This guy here, I love this dude with this fucking rifle. Listen.
You live in the neighborhood?
Yep, this is my block, this is my area. I don't go into other people's neighborhoods and try and intimidate them. I protect my people.
Are you giving out your name?
No, I'm okay with that. Our neighborhood's showing up.
You guys had a lot of people out here, right?
At least 30 or more.
Yeah.
40 or 50.
That's pretty good for a quick turnout.
So he's all like, I'm here to protect my community, right? He's standing there with the pew-pew, right? Yeah, well, let's see what Gunther has to say about that real quick. This is my neighborhood, quote, liberal man with rifle stands outside a home in St. Paul to protect his neighbors from ICE. Lock him up. Lock him up. That's interesting because, and I'll just go here. This is also Gunther Eagleman. This was, I think after the pew-pewing in Australia, Gunther says, here's Australia in the 1990s. But they're starting to regret giving the tyrants their firearms. The attack is a stark reminder of why we must never give up our Second Amendment. Like, they don't even, like, believe what they say, or they don't remember what they say. And it's, I'll just say whatever is most convenient in that moment to make the point in that moment. So, like, I don't even know, like, do we take them seriously at all anymore? They don't even try to act like they're consistent in any way whatsoever. Oh, we gotta use our Second Amendment to protect the First and all the other amendments. And the moment that all those other amendments are getting shit on, they're like, you gotta comply. You can't use that. You can't use that Second Amendment. What are you talking about? You're a Democrat. Democrats don't get to do that. That's weird. And that actually brings me to this other post here. This guy, Jack Unheard, on Twitter, he posts this picture. Let's see. This is a real photo from Minneapolis. Leftists staring down ICE agents with loaded weapons. How did we get here? I don't know. How did we get here? The insane, dangerous rhetoric from Democrats and the media. We need to hold all of them accountable. And it's a black dude with a gun sitting out there like that other white dude, you know, ready to protect his spaces and his community. Yet these Republicans, they're like, but you can't do that. You're not allowed to protect your community with pew-pews. What are y'all talking about? Hey, Jules says, damn it, y'all didn't tell me he was live already. I'm actually late, so I just started like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. Yeah, 9 minutes ago. So yeah, you haven't missed a lot. So welcome in, Jules. Good to see. Old Blue, you're right. Both sides do this to some degree. That's not true, but the majority of like the gross hypocrisy I see is coming from these people, especially as it relates to like guns and shit. They really love their guns until you use it to stop them from taking away your rights. And then they have issues with that. And that actually leads me to this jackass here. And before I play these clips of this little puke bag Jake Lang, which I'm sure you've seen some of these clips, but this guy is a plant. Okay, this guy is not. I think he's literally paid to go in and troll and do what he's doing. I got to send myself this picture. I forgot to send it to my computer. Why don't I have a share? Well, that's fucking weird. Oh, I see. I see why. Let me send it to my computer because I'll need that here in just a second. But let me play this clip of Jake Lang that you guys probably haven't seen before. I hadn't seen it until today. Let me play this shit. And this one is not the censored. Oh, it is the censored version. I censored it for TikTok.
Go back, AIPAC, go back. That's the AIPAC building right there. White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers.
Oh, I didn't censor it.
Simple. I was just showing them the AIPAC building on my stream.
I mean, you see the look. You see the look on the guy's face. Look at the look on his face after he says the N-word. Like, oh, yeah, look at me, I'm a badass. Look at me. My name is Jake Lang, and I'm a badass. Look at the look on his face after he says it. He's like, that's gonna make somebody mad. Like that's his sole fucking purpose here, is to like piss people off. So let's just watch him real close.
White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers.
And watch when he turns around.
Simple.
Like I don't even think that he is a serious person, and I'll get to that in a minute. The evidence to suggest that this guy, and I think it's Israel doing this here, and you'll understand why. I know that probably sounds weird, but I think you'll get it here in just a second. But there's another clip. Where's this other fucking clip of this idiot? I'm gonna have to send that to myself again. I didn't realize I hadn't put it on my computer yet. Yeah, this guy is such a tool bag. And like after seeing these clips, I'm like, you guys didn't beat the fuck out of this man enough. You didn't, like he got grace that he would never have given to anybody else. Never. And oh, here we go. It's I'm sending it from my phone to my computer. I downloaded it this morning on my phone. And it's going to take just a second. There we go. I think I got it. Yeah, watch this shit. This is...
I've been informed by...
Like, I feel like he's literally just being paid to troll people. I mean, watch this.
My team that there are thousands of death threats coming from the Yemenis Houthi Muslim terrorist organization because I simply exercised my First Amendment right to put a Quran inside a pig's head here in Plano, Texas. Well, America, the pig heads and the Qurans will continue. The burnings will continue until more Allen proves I've got some beautiful...
Like, what the fuck, bro?
Juicy, delicious bacon here, and some pedophile prophet Muhammad Qurans. And today, we're gonna cook our beautiful bacon. It's sizzling.
Like, what the fuck, bro?
On the Qurans here. Jesus is King of America. We will never become an Islamified, disgusting caliphate like we see in London, England. Our country is worth fighting for, America. So today, I want you to go out there and put these Qurans to good use to fry some bacon. Jesus is King. We will never negotiate with terrorists. Our country is a Christian country. God bless America. Jesus is King.
I mean, like that whole performance that he's doing is just that. He's just doing it just to outrage people. And so like when it's obvious that that's his goal, people should just ignore this fucking loser. Especially, and let me pull this up. This is the thing I just sent to myself a second ago. When you see this picture, this is Jake Lang right here. So this guy is doing a Nazi salute, talking about the N-word and saying all this. This is the AIPAC building, complaining about, Israel's relations. Where are all the, you're an anti-Semite group. Where are those fucking people at exactly? Where are they when it comes to this guy, Jake Lang? Right? Well, they're paying his ass. This is Jake Lang here at the wall, doing his thing, doing the thing they all do. This is Jake Lang, this supposed Christian fucking Zionist who claims to now hate AIPAC and claims to be a Yahtzee. He's doing it to piss people off. And so, like, one of the prompts that I was going to make was like, is this all just like a stage? Are we all just getting played here? You know, is that what this is? Like, half of this shit? Because when you think about it, a lot of the stuff we're seeing in Minnesota is happening in a very small area. Like in LA, when the fucking guard went up there and they were like, you know, going after all those people in the burning cars, it was like a few blocks, right? And it was all contained in that. But you'd go anywhere else in the city and you saw and felt none of that. And yet we get inundated with like all of these videos and all of this stuff. And it's just, it enrages you. And is that the point? Like, is that the point? Is that why they're doing all this? To enrage us so that we, what, revolt? Or, you know, freak out? Or do like this to Jakey Poo? Let me play this clip because, I mean, I get a little enjoyment watching it, so I'll play it again. And the irony here, I played, I think, this yesterday. The irony here is not lost on anybody, but here, let's play it. This black guy saving this dude is wild.
Let me go. Just go. Just go. Let him go, y'all. Let him go.
I mean, I'm surprised this dude he wasn't like, guys, I'm just playing around. Guys, I'm just playing around. Live restricted for 10 minutes. Okay, it says your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live doesn't comply with the For You feed eligibility standards under our community guidelines. Reason, harassment and bullying. I'm harassing and bullying Jake Lang? Really? Is that where we're at now? Seriously, I just got a violation for harassing and bullying. Anyway, let's go back to the clip. I'm fucking TikTok. Oh my God. Anyway, and see, I'm harassing and bullying, yet AIPAC is still sending me money. Okay? Live restricted for some audience. Okay, yeah. Harassment, bullying. I got another one. Hold on, Jeff. Let me play this video real quick. Fucking hell. Poor Jake.
Look at that hero.
Poor Jake. They're always picking on him. How dare these violent people pick on this man? How dare they?
Why are there so many violent Democrats right now in
I know.
Minnesota?
Isn't it crazy? I don't know.
Like, why are the Democrats just acting out of order and carrying rifles?
I know.
Acting like a
isn't
fool?
It wild?
Like
I
this
don't
is
know.
some kind of like game or something.
Go back. That's
I don't know. For some reason, things like this
white Christian men are not going to
upset
sit around
people.
while you turn our children into a bunch of
Did he
nigger
show up there
lovers.
first, or did the liberals act like fools first?
Listen. I want you to hear what he says.
Children
Were the
into a
liberals
bunch
acting like fools first?
Jeff, shut up and listen.
of nigger lovers.
We're going the wrong way. Where are we going?
I want you to listen
turn our
real
children
close.
into a bunch of nigger lovers.
That doesn't enrage you at all, Jeff?
Why would that enrage me? Tell me.
Do you believe that people are turning your children into a bunch of N-word lovers?
Do you think I believe everything everyone says on the
Do
internet?
you think that they are? I'm just asking a question. You can answer
I'm
it.
just no. What you said it, and why doesn't that enrage me? Why would it enrage me?
Why wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't it?
Yes.
So I should be enraged over words, is what you're saying. So
Oh,
someone
over
has
words?
Someone has an outrageous opinion,
Over
and I
words?
should get outraged. I should grab my fucking rifle and storm to the fucking streets, right?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you agree with this? Let me pull this up. Do you think this is appropriate?
Look, when you guys are out there protesting to chop dicks off of children.
Let me play this.
Exactly. Like, what is that?
Let me play this.
Is that performative right there?
Watch.
Is he actually going to do anything? This big fat pussy cupcake.
This is my block. This is my area.
Look at this
Okay.
big pussy fucking cupcake.
Okay, Jeff, I'm about to drop you because I
Because
literally.
this pussy cupcake ain't going to do shit.
Okay, I'm dropping Jeff. Jeff, I've got to drop you. I already got a violation for harassment and bullying. Jake Lang, the guy that said that they're turning their kids into a bunch of N-word lovers. And so you up here calling this other guy names. I don't know, maybe because TikTok is owned by fucking Israel at this point. Maybe they would be like, that's perfectly fine. You can't laugh about the guy who says the N-word and hates people of color. You can't poke fun at him, but the guy who is standing there protecting his community with a pew-pew, you're allowed to make fun of him. That's TikTok logic for you right there. Yeah, sorry, Jeff. I just, your level of dumb ass today is just go suck Trump stick. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. APAC, what's up, man?
Man, I'm just getting over this illness, but I just want to say a couple things. I mean, in this era, it almost feels like outrage has become content, right?
Like, I don't understand. Why do you support that fat pork chop with a gun?
Dude, shut up. I brought you back up thinking that you might be able to control yourself. Somebody else is talking, okay?
Well, I want to know
Show a
why
little
you support
respect.
a fat,
Bitch, if you don't have any respect, I'll
fat
drop
fucking
you.
pork chop.
Okay, all right. Then you're gone. Okay, Jeff. Bye-bye, Jeff.
Yeah,
Bye-bye,
no.
Jeff.
So outrage is content, and I think the problem we have, nowadays is that, it's just people could just breed chaos, over it, right? Because that outrage, like his business model, is outrage, and that's what a lot of these, I think, controversial streamers are doing.
And it's gross.
It is gross, and I think it's And I think they feel like they could do it because they're like, okay, well, we have the freedom of speech. There's a fine line here. Let me tread the line.
And then he gets upset when people are like, okay, well, if you want to go around and treat other people like this, burning their fucking religious text and calling them out and getting in their face and stuff, then they'll bring the fight to you. Oh, I'm the victim. I have rights.
Yeah.
While simultaneously trying to take rights from other people, this fucking guy.
No,
So it's
absolutely
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just mute, pause, report, and I think it's different. Like if you're engaging like in a dialogue, like in a panel like this, right? I'm not gonna be, reporting or necessarily like blocking people. I mean, it's discourse, and I think that's important. But when you're, just stoking the flames, you video I think it just merits mute, pause, report. Just suffocate that content because that is the guy's business model and he's just only going to make money off of it.
Well, I think it's more nefarious than that, though. I don't think it's just about money with him. Like I'll put it back up here. This guy goes to the wall, submits himself to the wall in the Zionist bullshit, whatever, and then he comes back and he pretends as if he hates AIPAC. He does Heil Hitler's, right? He does all these crazy things to suggest that he doesn't like Israel, yet the reality is that he does. And so I'm not even sure that this is, I think this is, goes far beyond just monetary gains. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but that's how
You're right. Maybe I'll close with this. I mean, there's money in dividing people. And I think it points to, just pure immorality where now, someone doesn't have a moral compass that they monetize on division. And, outrage controversies become, their business model and it's grotesque. And I think that it's just something that I'm wondering.
It's unhealthy.
it's unhealthy. And something has to be, done about like big tech in general. And
society has to stop watching that shit, because there's a panel I know about, and that's what they do. They literally curate drama from the people like watching. If they know there's drama between two people, they'll fuck with them to get them to come up there and have fights. And then the numbers go up. And so we as society have a responsibility to stop engaging with people that do that. So like, I mean, Jeff has a fair point. Why would you be enraged by that? Right? Even though I understand why people would be enraged by it. Maybe what we have to do is stop being so pissed off about it and just dismiss them as ridiculous people and move on. Is that the answer?
That is, I do feel like that is heading the right direction, because where does it stop? When people are making money from this and getting hyped up, well, who's going to outdo the next, and it's going to continue on until where does it end? But I think you're right. Just, we're going to have to find a point to ignore it.
I think we have to. Bunny, did you mean to come up?
No, I'm tapping. I'm homesick.
Oh, dang, you sound sick. That sucks. Well, I hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah,
I can go and drop you down. Get you some chicken soup, damn it.
It's
good for the soul. Or at least that's what the book told me.
I'm cuddling with my kitties.
Well, that works too. That works too. Well, I'm sorry you're feeling bad. I'll go ahead and drop you down, but if you want to come back up, you're welcome to.
Thanks.
All right. See you, Bunny.
Tim, I got a question whenever my turn is up.
Sure. I was going to get to Nadia. Technically, I believe she came in first, but Nadia, did you want to jump in there?
Hi, Liberal.
Hello. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me up. Great live as always.
Thank you.
So from a Muslim perspective, that guy, burning the Quran, having the pig's head, honestly, it's not really getting a rise out of us, because you would, feel the wrath. You would see the pushback from the Muslim community. Basically, we just see that guy as an idiot. Like, he's just uninformed. And to say that the Quran doesn't align with Western values, are you kidding me? The whole concept of democracy was actually really, pushed by Prophet Muhammad. Jesus is mentioned in the Quran. There's a whole chapter on Jesus and Mary. We revere him. You probably know this because you're educated. So like this whole if he's again, I don't know if he's like trying to corner and peg Muslims as extremists. There are Christian extremists. There are many, many Jewish extremists. Most Muslims are honestly very inclusive, very chill. We're allowed to marry Jews and Christians. Like, it's a very open-minded faith. Like, I would say 99.99% of Muslims are like the most calm, rational, inclusive people. And we already believe in Jesus, so you can't even peg it like we don't believe in him. We do believe in him. It's like a culmination of the three faiths. First we believe in the Torah, then the Bible, then the Quran. So what I'm trying to get at is his reframing it as like, we're the enemy and we don't believe in democracy. We kind of invented democracy. Like, it kind of came from Mesopotamia. He's just an idiot. Like, he's an absolute, it's not getting the, it's not getting the results and response that he wants from the other side. What it's getting is us just viewing him, especially like Americans that have lived here. Like, it's just making him look like an idiot. He just looks stupid. He
does. Like that video. Did you see the video of the pig, of the bacon, and him cooking it with the fire from the?
It didn't even upset me. It's so stupid. You know what it just proves like our point on this forum and on your live that you show every day, that he's just an idiot, and that we just need to like you were saying earlier, and I guess even Jeff was alluding to, like, we just need to kind of ignore these people and focus on the bigger points, like on Trump ruining our economy, and on Trump, like, putting different groups against each other and dividing and conquering, and Trump being about greed and Trump being a pedophile. Like, we need to focus on the more important points. And if someone one-off, acts like a psycho and burns a holy book, like, okay, so maybe he needs to be institutionalized. Maybe he needs medical treatment.
Maybe. I think that he is a paid agitator. I think he's paid to rile
He
people
could
up.
be. Yeah, I know. He very well could be paid.
I mean, because look, you've got a mob of people that were there that took the bait. They took the bait and beat the fuck out of him. Now, while I take some form of enjoyment from seeing that a little bit because I know what a piece of scum bucket he is, it also makes us look worse. However, that said, let me play this video for you because this was after he got away, after the black guy helped him, saved his fucking life. A trans person saved this man's life because they were still chasing this bitch down. And he hops into this random car. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. He hops into this random car and happened to be a trans person. They didn't know who Jake was. They didn't know why he was running. They just saw that he was bloodied, scratched, had injuries and shit, and let him jump in there. And even after they learned who he was, they said they wouldn't have changed it and they would have saved him again. Watch this shit.
That's him! Is that him? Is that him? Yes! Open the door! Oh my God. Try. Oh my God. Just try. Wait, let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over. Hey, leave it. Get out of here. Leave it up. Get out of here. No. Y'all just let him leave. It's not working. Hey! We don't know him. Let him out.
I mean, they probably would have killed that man. As enraged as that group was, that was pure mob mentality. So. And I think they would have killed him. And, and that would have made us look, even worse. But the fact that a trans person saved this dude's life and a black person, two people that this motherfucker rail against constantly,
That's so ironic, isn't it?
It's so ironic. Yeah, lesson learned, Jakey Poo. Like, I don't know. I think it was like perfect. It's justice for him that he is saved by the very people that he hates, or at least claims to hate. Because I don't even know if the guy's serious. You know what I mean? Like cooking bacon over the fire of a Quran being burned. What the fuck? That is the dumbest shit ever.
Turkey bacon tastes really good, by the way. I don't know if you've had turkey bacon. It's really good. Now I want turkey bacon.
It does. It tastes real good.
Lower fat, too. I'm going to hop off because I have patience, but have a good day, guys.
All right, thank you, Nadia. She doesn't have patience enough for this panel, but don't. Just kidding. Anyway, APAC, you're back. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, sorry. Just back and forth between calls, so... But no, it's good.
I may actually need to restart this bitch because it's, I'm probably going to be in the doghouse for the rest of the show. I don't know. Fuck it. We'll just keep going. I don't care. But share it out. Share it out. If you share it out and let's, get past the fucking 10-minute restriction they gave me for Jake being Jake. Anyway, what was your question, Ben?
First off, what do you think about this snow we're fixing to get here in Oklahoma?
Oh, man.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Dude, it's going to be legendary.
Yeah, my wife is getting geared up for it. Hopefully there's bread and toilet paper left by the end of the day, but, who knows? Yes. We know Oklahoma's full of shit, so they got a lot of wiping to do. And we're supposed to get some in Mississippi, too, man.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, freezing rain. Yeah, gonna be crazy.
I often wonder, I was watching Trump a second ago doing his speech, and in the comments you just see everybody, basically talking shit against Trump, and it's like, I understand the hate and everything. I just wonder, are we doing more damage to ourselves in the sense that you have people that are literally hoping we fell as a country, and I wonder if it's worth failing as a country to get after him. It's like I got a guy at work, and he's constantly like, I hope we just get one load today, because one load we're off at 9 o'clock and we get paid a full day. And it's like, if we get 2 loads, we get double the pay, right? And I would rather, I don't I'm like, I want the money. Like, I don't want us to fail. I want us to succeed, you know, and every day it's just, and I end up getting off the phone with him because I just don't like hearing it. You know, it's like.
So you believe that, well, you know, that's actually.
Country, like, do we really want to fail?
It's a decent segue. I don't think people want to fail. I think they saw the writing on the wall and they want to that their prophecy of what the outcome is going to be true. You know what I mean? I don't know that they want it to fail, but I mean, just look at this, because it's not even just people though, and you also have to acknowledge that there's a group of people that no matter what Donald Trump does, it's bad for the country. They will just simp for him. Like, literally, no matter what. So just watch this clip. This is interesting.
Yeah. First of all, Liberation Day was chaotic and crazy, and the execution was poorly, and everyone said that, the Republicans and the Democrats. And Steve, I'm your friend. Whether I'm a Democrat or Republican, we've been friends for years. So what I would say is, yes, the market has gone up, but the glass could be half full or half empty, depending who you speak to. Manufacturing jobs are down almost 100,000 for the last 12 months. You look at today's announcement on tariffs. Yes, the stock market didn't like it.
Just so you know, manufacturing jobs were down under Biden, and President Trump has made a central promise to bring those back.
Wait, you don't let me finish. You let him finish. We're talking about his 12-month period. If you want to talk about Biden, we can, but we're talking about his 12-month period.
Hold on. It's the same thing you said many times as you
have.
You've also talked about electricity prices.
I'm going to.
I figured you were going that direction, so I came prepared.
We were talking about tariffs.
Okay, but one thing I just want to point out on that, just like the manufacturing jobs, electricity prices were up 30% in Biden's 4 years in office, and now I'm hearing from Democrats, the electricity prices, well, they're only up 4.5% under Trump. And where were they then?
And you know what? And Biden didn't win, and you take these vows for the last 12 months. You want to talk about the 12 months?
You go.
You know what? Let's just blame Biden, okay? Now that we blame Biden, let me finish, okay? Right now, our biggest trading partners are France and Germany and the European Union, and they're not happy today. And this approach with tariffs over Greenland, I don't think is a smart approach. The market doesn't think it's a smart approach. Besson can gaslight everyone he wants and say everyone stand by. But today, affordability is getting hit. Mortgage prices have backed up. Okay, I guarantee with rates backing up, that's not a good sign. And people are selling America. So to Martha's point, yes, he's acting like a bull in a china shop, and I'm hopefully that long run it works. But day to day, this undue volatility is not good for business. There's not a business person in America that thinks a trading war with the European Union is a good thing.
Wait, Robert, people are not.
Yeah, and so they continue to basically, like, it doesn't matter what this guy says. It's no, but Biden. Even though Biden lived through one of the greatest upsets in the global trade economy we've ever seen in our lives, or probably the biggest global upset, he dealt with that, and that's why a lot of those things were up. But let's not point out any of the bad things. So there, you've got that kind of extreme on both sides.
Yeah. Right. I just hope it doesn't, like, when you watch that, and I don't know, it's really scary because, like, man, I know you can hate a guy, but to want us to fail, like, you're working so hard against anything. You hate the man so much that you will literally sabotage everything else in order to say, haha, he didn't.
Well,
let me jump up and down every time something doesn't work out great.
Let me jump in here real quick, because let me maybe reframe this, because you're looking at the people critical of Trump and saying they want him to fail. But what they're seeing is him failing and them wanting America to succeed. And that's why they're complaining about him, because what they see him doing is failure. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? So they're seeing what he's doing as a failure, and they want to succeed. That's why they want him gone. Does that make sense? Or to stop what he's doing.
Because there's not one
I'm trying to
Because you like
well, real quick, Aaron, and forgive me, but Dina has been up here and Scott has been up here. Neither one of them have spoken yet. So if no, you're fine. If Dina and Scott want to let Aaron finish, you guys could do that. But otherwise,
no problem.
If you want to jump in there, we can go after Aaron. You good with that, Dina?
If he needs to finish, go ahead. Or Aaron, if you need to finish, go ahead. But yeah, I do have something to say. I'll mute up.
Okay, let's go to Dina then right after Aaron. Go ahead, Aaron.
Thank y'all so much.
Great panel.
So, Benjamin, partisanship aside, there is not one positive thing you can say Donald Trump has done for our nation. You have people on edge. You have literally the military in the streets. You have citizens against each other. You have the dollar at a 60-year low. You have the stock market, which guess what? That's what billionaires are doing with their money, playing and making more money on our backs. You don't benefit from that. Even though I'm invested in the stock market, I can't go pull out my money in the stock market and live on that or live on my dividends and live the high life. So you don't benefit from that. Energy is up. November 2024, my light bill was $76. November 2025, my light bill was $476. That's an increase of 498% in 1 year. If you're finding all this goodness, please share it with the class. Because I'm an independent. I am not a Democrat. Please show me when Donald
you're
Trump...
assuming that
Excuse me. Hold on. Show me the positive of what Donald Trump has done so we can give him his kudos.
Ben?
Just making sure I'm not jumping in.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm done now.
Okay, making sure. Well, I'm not praising him, and I need you to know that I'm not MAGA. I am independent at this point. I was MAGA all the way. I just feel like the whole Minneapolis thing, or sanctuary cities, if you will, like. If they were able to come and work together, the police and ICE and say, okay, hey, look, we're willing to work together. Give us the list of the people you want to go after. We'll keep the people. Let us work them and give it a chance. And then when ICE goes above and beyond, then say, okay, look, we gave you the chance. We can't do it no more. All bets are off. They didn't even get a chance to do that. So whether you like what they're doing or not, like if every place he goes, everybody's there to fuck it up before, excuse my language, but to fuck it up before he even gets a shot at it. Well, I mean, of course, then he's going to have to turn to being a bull in a china cabinet, right? Because now he's just going. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I actually agree with you.
Well, but that didn't answer the question. The question was, what was the good thing?
Right, because he doesn't have anything.
Well, no, and I'm still looking myself, right? Like, I don't know that I'm living in a... I mean, and I don't want to sound...
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't want to sound like...
I do agree with you what you just said, though. I do agree that the federal government and the local state government should work together and get the bad people out. Kind of like the Biden administration was doing when they deported over 6 million people.
And the Obama administration.
And peoples were in sanctuary cities. It's kind of like there was a rule of law that the Biden administration was following, and they worked with local municipalities to get the quote bad people out. And Trump just said, no, I'm going to revoke your legal status of being here. I'm going to revoke your visa, make you quote illegal, and then send the slave catchers to come and get the people off the streets now.
Well, and think about it this way too, Benjamin. Barack Obama was the deporter in chief because he deported millions. And we didn't see militarized people in the streets. We didn't see all of this crap that we're seeing. So it can be done, what you're saying. And there were sanctuary cities at the time where the cities themselves wouldn't help. The only thing that I see in a sanctuary city that needs to change is if if that city has a prison and they have somebody who is an illegal that is getting out because they've served their time, that prison should have to call ICE and let ICE deal with them as they would do. But there are cities that will let, in prisons that will let those people go without informing the federal government. And I think that's bullshit. But in terms of sanctuary cities, the cities are under no obligation to help the federal government in any way whatsoever. Right. And Barack Obama,
I just think it would be
Barack
easier.
Obama had that problem, yet he still was able to deport millions. And Democrats protested then too. So, but with that, we could spend an hour on this. But I think Dina wants to say something. I'd like to get to Dina and Scott. Dina, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. It's not that we want our country to fail, far from it. We're trying to tell the rest of the world, this is not who we are. This is not who we are. Please hang in there with us. Trump is literally destroying everything that made this country great, especially putting NATO at risk. All right. When you consider that the Justice Department is now weaponized, that we have the kind of incompetence that we have running the country, when you see that Trump is literally acting with impunity, you're damn right. I can't stand this son of a bitch because he's costing the American people everything they have and then some. And I want to add something to some of those. I want to add a statistic to what you were saying. Aaron, do you know that in 2025, the foreclosure, 21% of mortgages are under foreclosure because of Trump? Yeah. Do you know that manufacturing jobs are so far down? People can't really find jobs. Everything this guy is about, he's a thug, and it is not who we are, and we have got to stand up and tell the world, this is not who we are. And anyone who supports this son of a bitch, I won't engage with, because they're nothing more than fascists. And with that,
Dina,
thank you.
If you really want to freak yourself out, look at the retail delinquency. It's worse than the housing crash in the early 2000s.
What's a retail delinquency?
That is mom and pop shops closing down and not being able to pay their rent and going delinquent on their lease agreements. It is even worse than the housing crisis that we had before.
It's sad. Listen, I'm just going to end with this. MAGA equal maggot equal maggots because they're feeding off the corpse of what our country used to be. That's what this is about. And with that, Lebo, go ahead and drop me down. Thank you for letting me have my say.
Thank you, Dina. I appreciate it. We'll see you later. And yeah, I'm definitely shadow banned because the video I posted just before I went live, which was 47 minutes ago, only got 21 views. So I don't know what TikTok's doing, but it don't like me today. Yeah, and that's not normal. Normally within an hour I've got 100 or 200 views, and then it usually stops there. Anyway, Scott, welcome in. Go ahead, man.
Buddy. How you doing, Tim? Listen, Ben, if I may, this is a different topic, but I'll jump in on what you were talking about for a second. But it's kind of like this. Trump starts the presidency, and within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he says he hates Democrats. He hates half the country. He wouldn't put his hand on the Bible because he knew that, right? Because he wasn't going to swear for all Americans because he isn't for all Americans. And yet, Ben, you kind of want the people in the blue states to play in the same sandbox. Let me explain something to you. When somebody hates you, are you going to hate them back? Hell yeah, you are. You're not going to work with them because he's not going to work with you. You see, he can't. This is the way Trump operates. He's a bully. And he wants to be able to run all of us. That's how he works. That's how he works, and it's disgusting what he's doing when he says he hates people in his own country. And that's what he's done to the Democratic Party. That's what he's done to you as Democrats. He hates you, period, because he says it multiple times. So, of course, and then what does he do immediately when they stand up to him? They cut the funding to all the states. What states? Oh, the blue states. Oh, but they got to work with us. I'm sorry, what? See what I'm trying to say, Ben? It works both ways. If you want the blue states to work with you, Mr. President, then you're going to have to start working with them properly and not bully them. That's how it works. But it doesn't work in his mind that way. That's the problem with the United States of America when it comes to him. Okay? But what I came up to say is, me as a Canadian, our
fucking
Prime Minister
Canadians.
I know,
future
fucking
Americans
Canadians.
of Canada.
I know, right? Fuck yeah. Yesterday, our Prime Minister got up, and his speech at Davos was, well, it was unbelievably great. So great that when he's walking and going to do his question and answers, he got a standing ovation. And only 3 people have ever gotten a standing ovation at this thing, and one of them was Mandela. So I think he did a really good job, in other words, and he did. And we were pretty darn proud of basically, it was a great chat. I know Trump didn't like it because there was some things that were obviously towards him. But when Trump got up about an hour ago, of course, he had to come back and say how he didn't like it and so on and so forth. And he basically said Canada's only alive because of America. And, listen, bud, just know that the man did a good speech and just leave it. But see, Trump can't do that. Trump's big mouth, once again, has to be in the way of everybody else. He has to rule the bloody world, it seems. And it doesn't work that way, right? We're all, we all supposed to love one another. We're all supposed to be helpful with one another. Like, I would give anything to help America if there was something I needed to help them with. And I'm hoping the same that would happen to me. But it seems like today it's not like that. And that's sad, in my opinion. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch the speeches. I don't know what was said. Was it Mark Carney or was it somebody else?
Mark,
it was Carney.
It was pretty phenomenal. You got to watch his speech, Tim. It was great. And basically, standing up for Greenland and standing up for what's right and wrong. And, it was a really well. I don't know who wrote it. I don't think he did. Maybe he wrote a little bit of it. I don't know. But whoever did, phenomenal speech. It was one of those that, you want to remember kind of deal.
Well, right? I just pulled it up and I'll watch it later. 15 minutes. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And then, like I said, he got a standing O and like when you can compare a standing O to a guy like Nelson Mandela, that's pretty cool. So good for him, right?
Mark Carney is who Trump wishes he was, a successful businessman that has the respect of his country.
Yeah, he's got a lot of respect in the world too. I mean, he's no dummy. He doesn't have. Well, on the conservative side in Canada, hate him. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so it's like the Democrats not liking Trump. Our conservatives in Canada don't like Carney, and that's okay. I get it, right?
Benjamin, what is your take on this whole Canada, Greenland, fucking imperialism thing that Donald Trump's got going on? I'm not sure if I've heard from you about that yet. What do you think? He might be busy. He's a trucker. He teleports a lot. Thank you, Dina, for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate the gifts. I totally forgot to reset my gifting goal. So, Kimberly, thank you for all those donuts. Wow, appreciate that.
Hey, Tim, do something. The guys were talking about snow. Your guys were just talking. Did you see the record snowfall in Russia where people could jump out of their apartment buildings into the snow?
Yes, that was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Did you see that?
I haven't seen that, no.
If you can Google it, just type in Russia snowfall.
See, now we know that Donald Trump is a Russian asset because he's the biggest snowflake ever. And now they just get snowflakes everywhere. There's snowflakes everywhere, guys. Just jump out of the building.
Yeah, they're literally, they could jump out of off their apartment balcony and into the snow because it's that high. It's ridiculous.
Let's see. Russia snow apartment, snowpocalypse. Oh, wow. Dude, that would be insane. Here, let me pull this up. This is crazy.
Come on, man. That's hilarious.
Wow. That is crazy.
Oh, it's insane, man. Yeah. Damn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're used to snow.
But not like that. Look at
Holy
this.
shit. That's insane.
That is just unbelievable. Snowdrifts are like, come on.
Wow. I wonder if ever in their life they were like, okay, honey, let's go up to the 3rd floor so we can get outside. Like, what the hell? That's crazy. Yeah, no, that's some snow right there. Well, I don't think we're going to get anything like that, but holy shit, I'm still looking at this. That is nuts.
Well, we went from a forecast in Nashville of 11 to 18 inches down to 3. I'm still not leaving my house, but still, it's Nashville.
Yeah, that is crazy. You watch this. Watch this, guys. Holy shit. Look out the window. You see how high up this guy is? Look at this. Look at this. He says,
better not.
He says,
better not.
He says, Vladimir's after me. What?
That is
wow. Wow. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
Let's have some fun.
Dude, I wouldn't even have jumped out of there like anyway.
No.
Even if I mean, it's snow, but sure, my luck, it would be it had rained already and like everything underneath the top layer was just ice. One big ice ball. Fucking Jules. Kurazi, that reminds me of Band of Brothers. That episode, Kurahi, I think is what it was called. Great show. Anyway, I don't know. I'm at a loss for like what we're doing as a country because you see the writing on the wall, and I wish Ben was still here because I'd love to hear his take on it. But like we know that the world is going to turn on us, but will that eventually be a good thing, Aaron? Scott?
No. I mean, because if you think about what
for the world, I mean, not for America, for the world.
No.
It won't because he's violating so many international laws. The international law is null and void. So now you can't trust people to actually keep their word because the biggest, baddest, air quote, country did it and there was no consequences.
But we've always violated international law.
But not to this degree.
No.
I mean, we've always we've never stuck to international law ever.
But have we ever kidnapped a leader before, like in broad daylight, like just willy-nilly, just went in there, turned off the lights and
Panama
and came back home?
Panama. Sure as fuck did.
But there was extenuating circumstances in Panama. Like there was a lot of, I mean, yes and no. But we have
Noriega, there was the same thing. They said he was a rug guy, and he had been charged and convicted, and they went and took him.
Technically, he had stepped down, and I listen. Stay with me, Liv. Stay with me. Technically, he had stepped down, and he was a former president by the time he was arrested. Technically. But he was not the sitting actual head. And like, while I will never okay the crap that we've done, the destabilizing the nations, like, you know how I feel. But the blatant disregard for treaties and rules and international laws, violating our own laws, that is something that has not done to this degree before.
I mean, I don't. You say that, but history tells a much different story.
I mean,
when have we ever
I'm not ready to come to that realization, Liv, like all the way. So let me stay in La La Land a little bit longer.
I acknowledge, I understand that the way he's violating it today is different, but the violations are the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we really have done this forever, but we were like, we're the good people. Look, you know, we at least pretended it was a democracy, or, you know, insert, you know, fluff word here. So in that, sure, it's different, but you know, I made a video about this. I'm like, I went through like the history of our deposing leaders, and you know, and you're not supposed to do that. Iraq, Afghanistan. I'm not sure that we had UN security clearance first. You know what I mean? We're America. We drink black coffee and we got chest hair. We do what we want. America. I mean, you know, we put Mountain Dew in our babies' bottles. You know, like.
But America, the world needs America.
I say that because I literally know somebody that does that and thinks it's like an American
Mountain
thing
Dew
in the baby's bottle. I'm like, you don't want your kids to have teeth? You want them to have 3 like you?
Right. Jesus. No, but obviously the world, or a lot of countries need America, and America needs countries. I mean, let's face it, without America, you know, it's not, it wouldn't be great. Like, we're all supposed to, you know, get along somehow. And right now, we just don't have that anymore. And it's kind of disappointing. Now, I know that the MAGA people were told to hate Canada, so they hate Canada. I know the MAGA people were told to hate this, so they hate it. The rest of America doesn't. Do you know what I mean? So we all know that. We're not stupid. We understand that. But right now, you've got a bully who's trying to, in my opinion, not only rule America, but he's trying to rule the world, in my opinion. That's how I see Donald Trump. He's a real... Yeah. He's just a...
CEO of the world is what he wants to be.
Yeah, essentially. He wants Lex Luthor.
That's a great comparison, actually. Yeah, that's a great comparison.
Yeah.
But, you know, for Canada's sake, have you ever heard of, I think it's called War Plan Red? The U.S. had a plan to invade Britain. This is back in the 1920s or so. Okay. And Canada was who we were going to invade.
Okay.
And we were going to go in there and take civilians. We were going to take over towns. I mean, they had this shit all planned out.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, America.
And I mean,
and the reason I ask, will the world be better off? I'm not talking about like in the acute sense, but I mean, after the dust has settled and after everything has been done, without the bully that has been the U.S. for so long. Does that calm the world, or do you think that power vacuum will be filled by somebody worse? Because honestly, I think it'll be filled by China.
Oh, sure.
And China is economically, you know, their endeavors are economic, and the only kind of violent rhetoric I've ever seen from them really is about Taiwan, but that's rooted in like, I guess, you know, historical land ownership, what have you. But,
well, it's kind of like back in the day of Hong Kong. Same thing, really.
Yeah, but and then you ask yourself, okay, so China may not be so violent now, and maybe they're not as bullying as the United States is. Will they become that? You know?
Oh, I think so.
You know, and maybe that's the nature of world leaders. So if that cycle continues for the next couple of 100 years, let's say China takes over, and they start ruling with an iron fist and doing the same shit that, you know, Americans engaged in. Shouldn't we do it a different way on a global scale then? Because if you can't stop that, then maybe the borders have to go. Maybe it has to just all be one people. I don't know. Just a thought experiment, I guess.
In my opinion, I've always said that Canada has a lot to give to America, and America has a lot to give to Canada. And I've always said, in my opinion, that we don't need that line. And I really believe that if we could work with one another, our countries could be so much better off, in my opinion. I mean,
sure.
You know, and I've always.
But you just won't do what we say, Scott. If Canadians would just do what we tell them to do, everything would be great. I mean, ask Donald Trump; he'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding, of course.
No, of
But,
course. I mean, we have some serious resources, and so does America. I mean, it's so much give and take there for both of us that it could be such a win-win. It really could be, but
that's true. Well, okay, so I'll ask again, like, is there any benefit, do you think, to having no borders?
Oh, I think so.
Like, for any country, people can go because you're a human. You can go wherever the fuck you want to go. Like,
if it's not a communist state or country, sure, absolutely. I totally agree.
Aaron,
like when you go to Europe, as an example. So you go to Europe, okay, and you start in. If you start in England, and then from England you go to Sweden, and Sweden you might go to Holland, and Holland you might go to. There's, you just go. It's wonderful, That's the beautiful part about going to Europe, and that's why aren't we doing that here? It's weird. I know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I know it's different. They're all different countries. You go to Italy, you go to this, you go to that.
Yeah, and of course, if that's the case, if you get rid of borders, then cultures that still exist may end up getting washed out. Or maybe not. I guess it depends on who the people coming into that country are, and are they, somebody who's like, no, my culture's better. We're going to do this instead. Right. I think Greenland had it right when they kind of reverted back to, Inuit language and such. I don't know of any other country that ever did that when it comes to like those that have been colonized by Europe. But, I don't know, Aaron, and then I'll get to East LA. Like, what do you think? Like, moving forward after Trump and after all this crazy shit, because I think we're going to see axes change. Like, alliances are going to change after this. I don't see how you go back. So how do you prevent it from the future? Like, assuming China takes over as a superpower.
I think that Trump has done irreparable harm to the United States. Because the first time was a fluke. The second time, it's on purpose because you knew what he did and you knew what you were going to get. And countries, true leaders, are not going to have their citizens prey to volatility like that. The market is already volatile enough. And so they are going to go with someone who is stable. And that, I think, is China. Because if you look at the acceleration of China's footprint in everywhere in the world, especially after 2017, it's been accelerated because of the trade war. And it's not like you were only going after China. You went after everybody.
Right.
That's why they're working against each other. Canada just did a huge deal with China.
Well, and if you think about it, what's good for China ultimately may be good for Russia, because they've been, somewhat allied with each other, and with BRICS coming along, maybe that was because I actually believe that Donald Trump is a Russian plant,
right?
And maybe that's the goal.
Trump say the other day? He said the other day that our enemies are NATO and the EU,
which is crazy.
Over Russia and China.
Right.
I think he personally is best friends with Putin. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think he's working as an agent with them. I really do.
We know that the Russians bailed him out back in the 80s.
See you, Jordan.
And we know he was bailed out by the Russian oligarchs. You see his business deals, you see his real estate deals, Russian oligarchs all over there. Who really runs the government alongside Putin? The Russian oligarchs. That's how they launder their money. Everyone forgot about the Palm Beach house that he bought, that the Russian oligarch bought, that was like 90% over list or whatever it was, something ridiculous.
Right. It was like over $9 million he sold it for, I think.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
And it was the most expensive property in that area that was sold at the time. Like the corruption in the ties, and when Deutsche Bank got into their issues in the early 2000s, we saw that he was tied up and he had all these loans that to Russia. But his followers don't care about that. They don't look to see how that's damaging to us.
Right.
as an American.
Yeah, I mean, Jules actually made a really good comment there. Jules said all that red note stuff that happened with Americans, I think China was using that to lure us to their side. That's a great point, I think, because and I kind of thought that at the time, and because everything is propaganda nowadays. If you notice that, like, there's always an agenda from somebody somewhere, and so I don't know that you can believe half the shit you see. So, like, maybe I don't know. And Chip, that's why I brought you up, because you have a lot of clarity when it comes to like global issues, and I'd love to hear from you. But East LA just got in here, so let me let East LA go, and then I'll run over to you, Chip. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. It's good to see you, East LA. Welcome in, man. Thank you for being patient. I appreciate it. Did you want to weigh in? Go ahead.
Sure. For me, there's two different things. There's my own personal beliefs, and there's what I consider to be reality. The reality is, I mean, quite frankly, the reality right now is that there is a real possibility that Trump may make a play for Greenland, right?
Oh, for sure.
And so I was on another live, right? And they said, well, how do you feel about it? And I was sort of being ornery, right? So I said, I think it's part of
you're never ornery. What are you talking about? Come on.
I said, I think it's part of a three-step process. Okay, the first would be to of course, we focus on Greenland, right? And then upon doing that, once we achieve that, then we annex the Sudetenland. And then upon that, we focus on the Low Countries. And of course, I was being totally tongue-in-cheek, right, when I said that. But what the point that I was trying to make is that this is massively negative regarding the United States. But here's the pragmatism. What would have happened if Kamala Harris would have won? Now, I am not a financial expert, number one, and I cannot give you my sources now because I was looking into this in 2024, which was a long time ago, and I don't file all my sources, okay? But I remember hearing pundits talk about the very strong possibility that there would be massive divestiture regarding people who had massive assets in this nation should Harris, and they would take their money elsewhere throughout the entire planet. And that was all I needed to hear, because that's what I thought instinctively, right? If you have a leftist in power, the money shifts away from the United States. And we need right now every resource that we have, including, by the way, oil. Once again, I would like to see America move away from its dependence on fossil fuels. However, is it going to happen? No way. So I have to deal with reality. And I have to make my contingency plans accordingly so. And the inevitable thing is that if we are denied every drop of oil if we are in any way denied any drop of oil that we need, we will become very, very aggressive. And if the United States becomes very, very aggressive, that is bad for the entire planet.
I mean, if this isn't aggressive, I'd hate to see what your version of aggressive is. But I guess I take your point. But I will say, to push back a little, they always say that about a Democrat. They said that about Mamdani. People are going to leave. This is a talking point that the right feeds their base in order to get them to vote for the people on the right. But billionaires love money. They can make money under a Democrat. They always have. You know what I mean? That's just yep. In my opinion, Same with they're going to take your pew-pews, and they never did. It's one of those deals. But anyway, well, thank you, LA. But Chip, you can address what LA said, or if you want to, go out on a global scale, and I don't know if you heard my question earlier about boundaries and borders and stuff, but you can address that as well. And welcome in.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me up. So just to address the thing about Donald Trump. Now, if you know anything about me, I don't like the guy at all. I can't stand him. I didn't vote for him. But I do try to keep the record accurate, even regardless of what my feelings are personally. And if you follow the money trail, he wasn't bailed out by Russian oligarchs. Unfortunately, that whole thing was in the Steele dossier. Hillary Clinton, love her, hate her, she wanted to come up with a way to try to delegitimize Trump, which I don't blame her. But that was all concocted. He doesn't have tight relationship with Russian oligarchs. Who he does have tight relationship with is wealthy Jewish Zionist billionaires. And Wilbur Ross, during his first term, his commerce secretary, was the one in a consortium of Jewish bankers who bailed him out of his casino debacle, the Taj Mahal and all that bullshit. So just for the record, and look at his behavior over his terms in terms of Israel and that whole crew, it lines up perfectly. So just to put that to bed. As far as this latest saga about Greenland, it's so outrageous. It's beyond. It boggles the imagination. I mean, the international community is looking at us like, "What are you guys, insane?" The very idea that he did say today he ruled out taking it by force. Did you see that in the news?
I didn't see that,
Yeah, so I mean, that's at least a good step. I don't know if he means it sincerely. This is the problem with President Trump, is that he shoots from the hip so frequently. You have no idea where he really is and what's rational, what's not. It does seem, looking outside in, that he is losing some of his fastball, so to speak. He seems like he's slurring his words more, and he probably has some health issues. I don't know if the people around him are just too afraid to confront him about it, but he seems to be. I mean, I follow the markets every day. The markets are like a ping pong ball because every time he fires out a different tweet, the market reacts accordingly. But this idea that the United States is going to somehow forcibly take Greenland, it would destroy the international order that's been built since World War II. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just a step too far even for our government, which is saying a lot. But I think at this point, we can rest assured that we're not going to invade and take Greenland. I think that our allies and what that would do to the international order is just unthinkable. And I don't think even President Trump is going to be allowed to do that.
That was funny, by the way, that Target thing. That was funny. So you just don't think he'll do it? I mean, because it's in Project 2025 that they at least take him over economically, but. Greenland has been somebody since the 50s we've had deals with, to build, militarily. We have access there. So it's like, like somebody was saying, it's a waste of money to pay for something that you don't have to pay for, that you can get for free. So, it doesn't make any sense on its face, but, an argument can be made that this is his art of the deal. This is the way he does it. He goes for broke. And then he pulls back a little bit, and everybody's like, even if the thing that he pulled back to is still ridiculous, it's less ridiculous than the thing he first started. So maybe it's some of that. But look, he said that he wanted to do it. He said that no matter what, one way or the other, they would take it. So I and probably the world have to assume that he means business. And just him saying that, whether he does it or not, just him saying that is detrimental, wouldn't you say, to the reputation of America? I mean, just by the words being spoken on multiple occasions.
Well, just one thing to keep in the back of our minds as well is that the pressure was really amping up from Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna in Congress to push for the release of all these documents that are obviously got to be so horrifically revealing that obviously they're being suppressed for that reason. He's been creating all these stories with the ice situation, the Greenland situation, anything to fill the news with other things to keep people distracted from that. But I don't think people are going to let go of that bone. I think most people want to see that the law that was passed, Pam Bondi, this was rich. She was so upset about the people coming into that church. And she's saying, nobody can break the law. Pam Bondi herself is in violation of the law that was passed, forcing them to release and explain why anything may have been redacted. She's 30 days out and basically could be held in contempt at any moment and arrested. I just find the whole hypocrisy so hard to swallow. It's very telling. It's a very unsettling time. I mean, every American administration does crazy stuff that's taking advantage of our military power and subjecting the world to all sorts of horror situations. But the Trump administration has been particularly egregious, I must say.
Aaron, I see your picture has changed. I looked down and saw that kid, and I'm like, that's fucking funny. You've got a whole slew of those things. Did you want to respond?
I'm locked and loaded.
Because you've got a hand one, you got a baby one. Anyway, go ahead, and then I'm going to get to Reggie after that.
So it's so funny that Chip can be convincingly wrong, Trump's ties to bailout by Russia has been proven, not through the Steele dossier, through Deutsche Bank when they were in financial crisis in the early 2000s, and it came out that Deutsche Bank was a massive global money laundering operation for the Russians. Deutsche Bank was the only one who would loan Trump money because of his financial failures his entire career. U.S. banks wouldn't touch him. Other foreign banks wouldn't touch him. Only the Russian bank, which was operating as Deutsche Bank, would. Okay. You can also go, The Guardian has articles about this. Foreignpolicy.com has articles about this. You too can learn about Trump being bought out by the Russians in the 80s, right? So that is not a debatable fact, right? You said something, Issa Lay. I can't remember what it was. Then someone said, I can't remember which one of you guys said it, about when leftists come into office and there's going to be the divestiture. Facts matter. Businesses do better under Democratic leadership. The economy always booms under Democratic leadership. Even with the threat of higher taxes, even with the threat of regulation, GDP goes up, unemployment goes down, wages go up. All of this is, again, factual information that you too can research with a simple Google, DuckDuckGo, Bing, whatever search engine you use, and then read the sources and look at the economies historically between Democratic leadership and Republican leadership. Now, I got smoke for both sides because they both don't do what I want them to do, but facts matter when you're talking about this.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Now, Reggie, did you want to jump in on this since you're the newest panelist?
No, I mean, I just jumped up because I saw my girl Erin up here, but I mean, I'm listening in and hearing where you guys are at. It doesn't really sound like there's a ton of opposition in here, but I just came off of a live where I was talking to someone who was, talking about this whole Greenland thing and all of this stuff, and they wanted to talk about how like cybersecurity is AI is an arms race right now, and cybersecurity is of the utmost importance, and that's part of why this whole Greenland thing is happening. And I said, wait a second. I know y'all aren't saying you care about cybersecurity, because if you did give a shit about cybersecurity, then when we had this whole Russian infiltration of our electorate system, you would have given a shit. Or when X decided to reveal the location of all of these MAGA ass accounts, you would have been at the forefront of saying cybersecurity. But y'all haven't said a fucking word about that, even though you log on to X every single day and ask Brock stupid ass questions. So I don't know. I don't really understand where the logic is. So that's just my...
I don't think they have much logic. Let me give you an example of MAGA logic here and their hypocrisy. Like Gunther Eagleman here says, "This is my neighborhood. Liberal man with a rifle stands outside a home in St. Paul to protect his neighbors from ICE. Lock him up." So he wants to lock up this guy who's got a gun, right? Second Amendment rights. But he also had posted this. Here's Australia in the 1990s, but they're starting to regret giving the tyrants their firearms. The attack is a stark reminder of why we must never give up our Second Amendment. So they're full of shit, these people. They don't believe what they say, or, they're willing to switch gears when it serves their argument in that moment. It's fucking weird. I don't, and you're right. There's not a lot of opposition up here. I don't know where they've gone.
They're waiting for their orange god to tell them the talking point this week.
I guess so.
There's not been a Truth Social post that they could read to decipher to get their one line.
The fucking
That's what
Truth
I'm saying. Like if I had to
man.
wake up every single day and log on to Truth Social just to know which way the wind fucking blows and how I need to stand on something today. Are we for tariffs? Are we against them? Do I like inflation? Is it real? Is it zero? Is it going up? Is it going down? Did Pam Bondi break the law? I don't know. But if I had to go onto an app to navigate it, you can't tell me that's not the same as the same people who fucking ask ChatGPT every fucking thing in the world. Like it's just it's no sense of critical thinking at all.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And he like double posts on. I'm going through his Truth Social right now. He posted the same thing like 3 times.
Oh, he loves to repost himself. I've had a little burner account on there for years now at this point, and he loves to repost himself, and that's where he gets all these fucking memes. Like, just go through the comments, y'all, like of Truth Social. It's a fun social.
I think it's bots.
To see the delusion.
I think they're bots. I think half of that shit is just fucking total bots. Like this no single person or president has done more for NATO than President Donald Trump. If I didn't come along, there would be no NATO right now. It would have been in the ash heap of history. This fucking Delulu, like, that is a wild statement. I mean,
who talks about themselves in the third person? I'm gonna start doing that, and y'all better not say a doggone thing.
Donald Trump says,
like right? Because Reggie don't play. You know,
I think it's Stephen Miller taping all that stuff in anyway. But that's
you think so? Stephen Miller, that guy is. He is an evil, like sadistic pup. This dude.
I call him Gollum.
I mean, for a while, I did think that it was his granddaughter for a while, kind of like how Dionne Warwick's like nieces and nephews run her Twitter account. But if it was his fucking niece, she would be way more fucking funny. And
do you guys not see
that's just not what it is.
When he talks on Fox News or whatever, how upright he is and how perfect he is when he's like he it's just disgusting just to watch him. You just think 1939. You really, really do. It's unbelievable. That man is an eerie. Oh, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And that's East LA saying that? Is that East LA saying that? Or is that Scott?
No, that was Scott.
Oh, Scott. Okay. Well, East LA, how do you feel about Stephen Miller, Goebbels' cousin?
First of all, I really wanted to address what Aaron said.
Sure. Go ahead, man. Yeah, by all means.
Yeah. First of all, okay, for me personally, there is my philosophical views. And they're my ideological views. My philosophical views, quite frankly, I'm a collectivist, okay? I want to live in a collectivist society. I do live in a collectivist society right now. I enjoy it, right? But I realize that collectivism will not work in the United States. It'll create too much of a division in the United States. It just will not work. Ideologically, I'm a liberal Democrat, which is far different from a collectivist, okay? Ideologically, I believe in a more nuanced view that would work for everyone. So when you tell me that a Democrat being elected to the presidency would be a good thing, yes, as long as it's a liberal Democrat. And if a liberal, well, this is the thing that I think would be a beacon for America, a true conservative-leaning liberal Democrat is elected in the next election and retains the presidency for 8 years. That would be a stabilization of American foreign policy and domestic policy. That would be emphasis on a strong border, right? And the ability for us to keep people out that we don't want here, okay? And it would be the way to properly address the needs of the people. Okay, it would be the best of all worlds within a world of compromise. So yes, when you tell me that a Democrat would be a good thing, yes. But I think here's also my ideology. My ideology that you have to utilize things that will work and reject things that won't work. So to have let's say the worst case scenario would be Mamdani. Someday Mamdani becomes president. Okay, that would be a disaster. No, that would probably create a system of divestiture in the United States. It would weaken our foreign policy, and it would probably enhance the ability for people that we do not want in this country to enter this country. So really what I want is what works for the greater good of all, and not just accordingly to my collectivist philosophies. I'm just going to go off and live in a collective society, within a free market system, be happy as a bug as I am right now, and just want to be left alone and leave you guys alone. That's it.
Okay. I'm not really sure what the point of that was, but I was also doing something else.
Then I'll tell you. If you give me a chance, I'll tell you very briefly.
Well, You just had like 2 minutes, and maybe somebody okay, if you can wrap it up in like 10 seconds, I
can wrap it up in
cogent point.
In 2 seconds. Yeah. My point is that in order to achieve the greater good, you have to compromise on your own beliefs.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm assuming you're in East LA, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And have you lived outside of Los Angeles before?
No, sir, but I've lived all over Los Angeles.
Okay. And I live in LA too. And the only reason why I asked is just because I feel like I know a lot of LA natives that have this collectivist approach to how they engage with politics. And I think sometimes I think it's just by nature of being in such a large metropolitan area where we are fortunate to have dense communities that are able to, provide resources for one another and engage in collective work to achieve common goals. And I think sometimes that POV it's extremely valuable. First and foremost, I value where your point of view is, but I just think sometimes when we are talking about average everyday Americans in some of these flyover states or in the Midwest or in these more rural areas, I think that ideology it's a little bit harder for them to grasp it because there isn't as much of a dense community, nor are there as many resources or the ability to share resources. So I think that might be where you may face a bit of pushback when it comes to your stance. But as someone who, I love my community here in LA, and I'm grateful that I have it, and I really appreciate it. But I think that sometimes, at least in the forms of activism that I've participated here in LA, it's like I think that sometimes that is a bit of an oversight. And I think that when we talk about strategies and ways to handle what's before us right now, not everybody across the United States can engage in their activism in that same way, if that makes sense.
Can I, once again, you give me a half a minute, I can respond to this guy. First of all, because I live in Los Angeles, I realize that there are many focal points throughout the nation, okay? What I want is overall the best for everyone. If you live in Idaho in a completely different environment than I do, then your environment should be enhanced. Your way of living should be enhanced. My way of living is as an Angelino. Therefore, I want mine enhanced. But I want everybody to have the best possibility of a good deal within their own society, and that's it.
Okay.
Hey, Lib, I gotta go partake in capitalism. I'll be back later.
All right.
I'll be around.
Best of luck with that.
Tim, if I may, I do have a question.
And thanks for coming up. I appreciate it, Aaron. Always good to talk to you. I'll message you because I'm not sure what you heard or whatever, but those people
you were in there. You were in there.
I was in there.
Yes, you came on panel.
That would have been
a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What about it?
No. That message was from that night.
Oh, God, that was an old message. I thought that was sent today. My bad.
No, the video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fuck those people. I was like, those bastards. Anyway, yeah, no. that makes a lot more sense. Anyway.
Right. I saw the confusion on your face. I'm like, maybe just quickly dust on that one.
Yeah.
They stop talking.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Okay. Thanks, Aaron. We'll catch you later. See ya. Scott, you wanted to address something? Go ahead, man.
I don't know if I heard East right, so I just want to be clear. Did you say that a person like Mondani would be a horrible president or would just be a disaster? Now, I want to clarify that, because if somebody who is Muslim faith is born and raised in America, which there is, are you telling me that none of those type of, because they're Muslim, that they can't or shouldn't be president? Or I need you to clarify what you meant by that.
Well, Scott, since you asked me a question, before I answer my question, I'm just going to ask you one quick question. At what time did you hear me mention his religion?
Well, you mentioned his name, sir.
No, sir. You're talking about religion. I mentioned his name because that's his name. If you want me to be able to identify the person, it's always most effective to utilize his name. Now, once again, sir, when did I mention or in any way
that's fair point.
his religion?
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, absolutely. I guess I assumed, and I shouldn't have done that, that it's maybe because he's Muslim. Now, you did say that he would. I just want to clarify why he wouldn't be a good leader as president.
Simple reason. Because I think at this point, at this chapter in our history, things could change, sir. And if they change, I will go with those changes, okay? I'm a very strong proponent of the prevailing wind in order to avoid conflict. But at this chapter in our history, to have a social democrat in the White House right now would be detrimental to the greater good of the majority. To put it to you that way.
Can you explain how? Though?
Because I think that too many people in America, and I'm talking about the citizenry right now, this would be destabilizing because too many people would feel we can once again philosophically say how this is wrong, okay, and I agree, but too many people in America would equate social democrats to actual Bolsheviks, sir. And that would create a spike right into the middle of America.
Nonsense.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Anybody that is my timer's ticker. Anybody that is saying that democratic socialism is Bolshevism that's ridiculous. So
I agree.
That's stupidity.
But what does he mean? What does he mean by that?
Communist.
Communist.
The commies are coming. It's all like they've been doing that for fucking ever. Like McCarthyism.
How can you be against that? But East LA, isn't that in a nutshell not also the approach of collectivism, like you say that you are? Like isn't somewhat of like everybody having the ability to live to the best of their ability?
100% true, sir, which is why I want to live. If I could find the proper place, I would literally want to live in a kibbutz in America, okay? But I don't want the entire nation to be based on this type of on this type of system. I want it for myself. I want to go off and live into a little commune for myself, my brother, okay? But I don't want to inflict what I want upon other people because that would compromise on the greater
I think that's pretty
good.
rich. I think that's pretty rich from you.
That is a little strange to hear that you want to live in a commune, yet you vote for Republicans?
Because I do not want my
and you oppose communism
lifestyle to equate. Excuse me, sir. I don't want my personal lifestyle to equate to governmental directive and or political directive.
So wait. Let me get this straight. Okay. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Forgive me. You are voting against what you personally would rather have to vote for what you think other people want. And damn it, I missed the target. Sorry, Jussie, and thank you for that. Is that what you're telling me? Like you want to live in like a communist society, but you know that other people don't want that, so you vote in the way you think other people would want?
No, sir, that's not what I said.
Is that not what he said, guys? I'm sorry.
That's not what I said. If I said that, then I would say it now.
Okay. So then how do you justify casting a ballot for things that then directly object what it is that you just said you want for your day-to-day life?
What I propose for the United States of America is a strong emphasis on a free market economy based on capitalism, because this is what most Americans want. This would be the stabilizing factor. Now, here is the compromise within that society. I advocate for strong social programs that allow people in need to have access to resources. This is not really anything radical, okay? Now, for myself, give me a gated community where we all live in a communal nature as the one I'm living in right now. And by the way, if you gave me a choice to where I'm living right now and said, you can have this or you can have a house in, let's say, a real nice neighborhood, Beverly Hills, let's say Beverly, I would take where I'm living right now over a private home in Beverly Hills.
So you're a democratic socialist that votes Republican, is what I'm hearing, because you personally want to live in a communal area. Let me just wrap it up. No, because that's what you keep saying. You want to live in a communal area. You just said you want free market capitalism also, but with things that help people, which is democratic socialism,
sir.
Because they're also capitalists, for the record.
Sir,
right, but then you turn around and you vote for Republicans. It doesn't make any sense.
Sir. I am a collectivist who votes democratic liberalism.
Then you wouldn't be voting for Trump.
But
I didn't vote for Trump. I did not vote for Trump.
Okay, who did you vote for?
Because I live in California and I really had the option to do this in terms of practicality, I just did not vote for president. I didn't want Trump there. I didn't want Kamala. So if you don't want either candidate, you just don't vote.
Right.
President.
Okay.
And you're the problem.
Right.
But I
So you
guess
voted for Trump.
my question for you, East. But I guess for East LA though, what I'm trying to understand is how is this? But because at the end of the day, to me, what I'm hearing with your ideology, as I guess, consider it as you're trying to make it sound, it still sounds like I want for me, but not for thee.
No.
And I don't understand.
That's an unfair.
But I don't
that's
understand
really
how.
unfair, I think. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, but and please, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong and help me understand. But like, I'm trying to understand how your political stance of wanting free market capitalism supports this idea of collectivism, because I would think that if we truly believe in the nature of collectivism, then we would understand that I don't think capitalism really has any place in any collectivism system.
Do you believe that capitalism has a place in the United States system, in the U.S. system?
I think arbitrarily, but I think we could also go to a basic universal income tomorrow and still make people play this monopoly game that we do every day, and shit would still be the same.
If we play,
that's true.
What was the proposal you advocated for? Say it again.
I said, if we turn to switch tomorrow, say if AI took out 80% of jobs and people still needed to engage in capitalism and buy shit and, have life be the way that we fucking know it's to be, or what it's evolved to or devolved to, if you really want to think about it, then I guess if we just all were given monopoly money on a universal basic income level and we're told, here's $3,000 a month, go get the same shit that you normally would get, nothing would change. Everybody would still be doing the same fucking thing. If all of our paychecks tomorrow, all of a sudden we're just paid by the government and not these corporations, like, it just wouldn't change the capitalistic system we're in. People would still buy shit, and I guess maybe the means of making more money or the ability to make more money would be maybe constrained a bit, but I still think that people would still go to your grocery store and buy the things that they fucking need to buy, et cetera, et cetera. Sure. Again, what I'm saying is that, at the end of the day, I just don't think that is true collectivism, and I don't know how, even if you attempt to do collectivism within that system, you're still having to, engage in capitalism. So I don't really think collectivism and capitalism are able to really coexist. I don't know if those Venn diagrams cross in my world or in my eyes.
Sir, I think that if there was this universal wage as you advocate for, I think that would literally.
I don't want you to get stuck on that. That was just a hypothetical of me just saying that.
Sir, excuse me,
right,
sir, but you said
right, but that's,
those words came.
I know, but that
sir,
wasn't the crux of my argument.
Those words came out of your mouth. A universal wage.
They did, but they weren't the crux of my argument. And
right. That wasn't the point. And let's see, we can just break it down even simply. You are for, more of communal rights. Community comes first before the individual, and then you support individualistic, monetary systems.
No, sir. I support
capitalism.
Sir, first of all, a strong free market is in no way an individual concept. It is a concept that provides for the greater good in terms of resources, in terms of opportunities for investment, okay, in terms of incentive, which is one of the basic principles of human existence, okay, incentive once again. What a governmental directive of collectivism does is it lessens the incentive. It lessens the motivation for people to succeed because we are all regulated to a single universal income, as Reggie just advocated.
No,
okay?
but the key word that East LA, yes, those were the words that came out of my mouth. But the key word of what I said was arbitrary, because we give capitalism and money meaning. It does not intrinsically have value. Gold did not actually have intrinsic value. We gave it value. It is an illusion. And that's what I'm saying. That's what the point of my argument was, is that the idea of free market capitalism is really us just sitting here and playing fucking Monopoly. And it's not real. So at the end of the day, resources is food, shelter, and you know, items and things that you can make or exchange. Those things have value because they have purpose or functionality or are essential to our ability to live as human beings. We as a species have lived on this earth for thousands of years before the idea of money fucking existed. So that's what I'm getting at. And I'm saying that if you were truly a collectivist, you would adopt that as the core understanding as to why you have that belief system. Therefore, capitalism shouldn't even be playing a part in how you approach the idea of collectivism. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't to me, and I'm going to tell you why.
And I think it's also fair to point out that it's, you know, collectivism doesn't have to be on or off. There can be different levels of collectivism.
Exactly.
You know, it's not necessarily just is or is not. So you can have versions of it, I guess, like your police station or, you know, EMS that gets paid for by your, you know, municipality.
I didn't know that. I didn't know what sense of collectivism he's really talking about here. So he's because he's talking about he lives in a shared communes type of situation right now.
He wants to. Yes,
I got a question on that, if I may. East.
Well, there's co-op living spaces here in LA.
I got two troubling things in my mind. One, you said, I don't want to quote you, but I will. I think
you know what
you said. Because I live in LA, I don't have to vote for a president.
Yeah.
Because it's blue.
I think that's what you said. Or because I live in California.
Point. Yeah. Because I live in California. Okay, sorry.
I don't have to vote for a president to run the country.
It won't matter. I think his point is that it won't matter because it's going blue no matter who.
Exactly.
I see what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because of the
right.
That doesn't work because everybody needs to vote for the number for the president, no matter what your state is going, sir. Am I wrong there?
No, I agree.
Can I say something real quick?
Real quick, guys. Because before we get too deep in this between you two, Angela has been sitting there for a while and hasn't spoken. So once you finish this up real quick, let's get to Angela, and then
I guess my second question is does somebody like Kamala live in your gate? That's all I'll say. Thanks.
Okay, so regarding your first question, okay. I'm going to respond with a scenario rather than answer you directly, okay. If you truly believe, as a point of honor, that it would be invalid to vote for either candidate, then what do you do, sir? Do you vote for the one that's the least repugnant? Do you vote against your basic human morality, the concept of morality? Sir, I did not advocate for any one of those for different reasons. Therefore, since I did not like either one of them, why the hell would I vote for either one of them?
I mean, you don't have to vote for them. I mean, that's true, but you'd think that you would.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Angela, I see your teacup now, but I would like to hear from you.
I'm getting my oil changed right now. So I don't know if you can hear the background noise.
Yeah, it's not too bad, though. But go ahead and make the point, whatever it was you wanted to talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, when he's talking about it doesn't matter who he votes for, essentially we're talking about the state, what's it called? Where like each state, whoever's going to win, it's always going to be a Democrat. In California,
the electoral college. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. But anyways, I just think it's so royal because I've literally been on panels with East LA for so long now. I also live in LA, and he's just a raging Zionist, right? So everything that comes out of his mouth, him having spent the last 2 years advocating for why the children of Gaza and why Israel should do what it's doing. It makes it hard for me to take anything he has to say seriously. I'll be quite frank.
Okay. You completely misrepresented my views regarding the Middle East now.
No, I've literally
No, ma'am.
debated you now for 2 years, and you are a raging Zionist. It's uncomfortable.
Okay. All I'm going to say is this. Okay, what my views are my views. I think the person, and by individual right, the person who has the most right to properly address what they feel is the person that feels that way. Okay. So you have completely misrepresented my views on the Middle East. I'm just telling you that.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
We didn't have a party. We didn't have president to the late 1700s. If people go back to the old ways and we don't have a president, I think we would have been better off. The reason why we have a two-party system so they can divide us. And people like that that vote for Zionism or they don't vote, is because they don't believe in politics. They don't believe that a vote could change or make a difference. This is because the person's political views is horrible. I'm not saying it's all politics. In politics 101, the reason why they have a two-party system instead of one-party system is because they want to divide us and make a continent matter. Make matters in continent bad.
I think I got what you're saying. I wouldn't necessarily say that I agree with that because I think I don't know if a one-party system is necessarily the solution.
No, I wasn't talking about one party. I was talking about one-party system. I'm talking about before they became a two-party system.
Well, hey, bud. I want to engage with you, but I'm trying to respond to you, and
I'm sorry.
That can't happen. That can't happen if we're both talking. So, I think the thing of it is, though, is I don't know Mr. East LA. I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt and not bring previous context, and although it is potentially helpful, I'm not gonna. We weren't even necessarily talking in regard to Zionism or Palestine or anything like that. So I just want to be respectful of East LA in this conversation. And hold on, just one second. I just don't want to get too off topic here, but East LA, I'm trying to understand your point of view. So I don't want to misrepresent what you're saying, but I want to hear what it is that you have to say if you can help me understand.
I'm basically saying that we should go back to the old ways, how we vote. I think they should.
You're talking about like Articles of Confederation? I mean, what are you talking about?
Not Articles of Federation, like when we in the 60s and 70s, 80s, that advertisement, money out of politics and out of Bible, out of politics, all that shit.
Okay, well, we still had two-party system in the 60s.
I mean, whatever they started it, but I think we should go back to old ways and vote with common sense. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, sure, people should vote for common sense, but that's two-party system has basically been here since the beginning of the country.
Yeah, I know. I basically was saying that I think people should vote and do the research. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, yes, but I think that the idea of common sense is so controversial. That's why Thomas Paine wrote a book on it. Okay, so
not so common.
I think right, and so I just
it's
think
so
that
common. Somebody had to write a book on it.
Yeah, so I think I hear you on that, but I think that if you want to talk about that, I think that then we have to look at the education system and just the ways in which that America has been getting dumbed down. And I think that is by design. I think that is on purpose. I think those are ways in which you get people to think that their votes do not matter, right? That's how we that's how this system has been able to continue to expand and create the divide that it already has. Because the real divide here is really a wealth and an equity divide. It's not necessarily an ideology divide. The real divide here. So like when we talk about the two-party system and all of that, that's really to give us the illusion of choice when there's a lot of other factors that are being done to keep us in this state of perpetual I feel like in America it's like the everyday Americans feel like we have just constantly been in a state of fighting for
We've
things.
been in a rut since the early 1900s. So
Well, I mean, it's a different rut, but we've always been in a rut. But to make this point, East LA, if there was ranked choice voting, would you have voted for president?
Yeah, sir, probably.
Yeah, I think ranked choice voting, and Ray Day has it right in the comments, is a way to combat that and grant more viability to smaller parties. Because
can you explain ranked choice voting?
Yeah, so you basically you give this is my first choice, right? But if that first choice doesn't get elected, that goes off, and then they count your second choice, and then they see whoever gets 50%, and then it's a process of elimination until somebody gets 50%. Based on the choices that they made, in that order. So you theoretically could say, I want this Green Party candidate to be number one, but if I can't have that person, this is my number two, and this is my number three.
And Mr. Liberal, I'll bet you $1 million you already know how I would have voted if that was implemented, right?
I don't know. Chase Oliver. I don't know if Chase Oliver was in California. I'm not sure.
I would have listed every one of the alternative candidates based
first
on my ideology. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I would have put the two primary candidates
at the bottom.
Can you just be specific though, and tell us who that would have been?
No, because it's too complicated right now. And besides, I can't even remember who was running on the alternative parties right now. I mean,
that's fair.
You're asking me to retain information that I've long forgot about.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm asking because for me, I think it's important to try to understand where individuals.
And the other reason that I can't tell you, since that was not a part of my thinking process at the time, I never even looked into it. I never considered it. I just realized.
Well, no, I mean, but I know, but I mean,
within the
but it's like I have
people
that I have people that I wanted or that I like, but I can easily think back to the last election and think of candidates that I was like, even ones I was kind of debating between in my local levels. I can still recall those. So that's why I ask. And I only ask just that way I can understand where your ideology fits amongst the people who are stepping up to represent
my ideology does not fit into the category of my personal beliefs. It fits into the category of one personal belief, and that's political expediency. My social outlook is strictly based on compromise to achieve the greater good, number one, and number two, to avoid conflict and promote stabilization.
I understand that. All I'm asking is trying to understand of who in the political realm do you feel represents that for you, or does the best job, or fits most of the criteria that you have? That's all I'm asking.
Honestly, you cannot look to any current political entity that would fit that requirement as far as I'm concerned. I could tell you historically who that person is, but not in terms of political candidates today. Historically. Okay, let me put it to you this way. Maybe this will help to answer. I'll answer it historically, okay, and see if this helps you, okay. I think that it would be a dream come true for John F. Kennedy to ascend from the heavens, come down, run for presidency in the next election, and be victorious. I would get down on my knees and weep for joy.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm just trying to get a sense of what people like you who think like you are, what choices are they making, and what would they prefer to make in this current reality? And that's what I was trying to get an understanding of. But I appreciate the current reality.
The current reality, the next election will be the midterms, okay? So I'm not even going to tell you what I'm going to do in a year from now or whenever it's about a year from now. Okay, what I'm going to do now is when the time comes, I'm going to do my research diligently, and then I'm going to check whichever candidate that I support at the time. That's all I can tell you right now, sir. It's too early
Okay,
right
that's fair. I mean, I would assume that that's what you do in every election. So I'm just saying, I think in terms of trying to get us all on the same page as a collective, right, and trying to share knowledge and resources. I work with my fellow people that I agree with politically and stuff around election season, and we literally create, stuff to pass out that gives people that information and those rundowns. So again, like, I'm not asking you shit in bad faith, and I'm not trying to be in malice here with you. I'm trying to actually engage. So,
okay. Well, we can move on from that. I mean, because it's this is it's a fruitless argument. I think. I would like to, however, and forgive me, Krusty, but Eamon, is that right? Eamon or Iman? Eamon? Eamon, you are also muted liberal, if you're talking.
Can you drop me down, liberal? I got to go to my black job. Sorry.
Damn those black
Reggie,
jobs.
I enjoyed hearing you speak.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, man. I hope you come back. Yeah. You're welcome back anytime.
I live in LA too.
All right, we'll catch you later, Reggie. See ya. And just for the record, so everybody knows, if you need to go, you don't need me to drop you. I'm not one of those creators. You can just drop yourself at any time. You don't even have to say goodbye. Although I will cry later if you do that because it's so rude. I'm just kidding. Ben?
I always say goodbye in the chat.
Hi there.
Hello. Did you want to jump in? Go ahead.
Sure.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Did we talk about the speech yet, or have you already gone over that?
Are you talking about the rambling, incoherent bullshit from Trump?
Oh, God, wasn't that awful?
Yeah,
I've
got to tell you, I started to watch it when he was doing the, showing the pictures of the, immigrants that had committed crimes, as if anybody ever said that no immigrant ever did. I just couldn't stomach it, so I didn't even watch all of it. He just was all over the place. It was, I'm like,
it was a speech this morning, really early this morning. I happened to be up and he's in Davos. So I watched that speech, and my mother is from Iceland and father's American. My mother passed away not too long ago, but she'd be turning over in her grave with what Trump was saying this morning about taking over Greenland. And then he kept saying Iceland.
So that was this morning?
He wants to take over Greenland? When he said that?
You're saying this morning he said that?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Then I was not aware of a thing this morning.
Yeah, he gave an hour and 20-minute speech in Switzerland for the Davos conference.
I'm surprised they let him go there after what he gave the people woke up. He banned 15 countries not to be able to enter.
Yeah, I think in some countries have a warrant for his arrest for crimes against humanity too.
Yeah, you know that my state was actually, I live in Indiana. If we would got a Democrat in there, we would legalize I can't say the word because it's what you can smoke.
Right.
We're about to legalize something. It makes over $1 billion in Michigan. Think about it.
Yep.
So was it in this speech that he had ruled out military force?
He ruled out military force, but he said, yeah, we'll be grateful if you do a deal with us. And if you say no, what did he say? We won't forget it.
Yeah, he's trying to start a war. So, and he does, and I hope he gets impeached for it.
Let's see.
He was so rude to the Europeans, telling them their countries were a mess, and NATO. They need NATO more than we do. We're so powerful, and it was just embarrassing, rambling, and then he started stumping for Putin.
because he has Putin. Because Putin has him in his back pocket.
Somebody asked, when did he say that he rolled out military force? Right here, he said, we probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable, but I won't do that. Now everyone's saying, oh, good, that's probably the biggest statement I made because people thought I would use force. Trump said, I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't believe that. I think he will do it. I think he will end up starting a war with Greenland.
Well, you know, he may be backtracking because he sees that even his own people are like, dude, you can't do that. So
he doesn't care. He's just going to act on
he's
it.
probably going to wait until he has some plausible deniability, like somebody's going to bring a joint over from like Greenland and be like, they're trafficking drugs. And then go over there and, arrest leaders. And,
We wouldn't be tracking it if it was all legalized here. If he was all legalized, not the big ones, but legalized like
legalize them all
at a federal level, it would be much better.
Yeah, I say legalize them all. Like
that would be
government's telling you that you can't put something inside your body. Who the fuck do these people think they are to tell people what they can do with their own bodies?
It's because
they're Republicans.
I'm sorry. Even Democrats that are opposed to it can kiss it.
It comes down to big pharma. That's the reason why they don't legalize all of it. It's because of big pharma.
Or they just want you to suffer.
All that shit.
It's like, they make they rig the game so that it sucks for you and you got to go through hell to slog through the game. And then they're like, oh, there's something that makes you feel good on your journey while slogging through this game that we've created. You can't do that. We don't want you to have any kind of release whatsoever from the fucking world. It don't make any sense.
I forget. Was it he was the dumbass, that one who released the Afghanistan leader from Afghanistan? He took back over Afghanistan.
What about it?
He released when the
5,000 T-ban people. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
He released someone from he's from an organization where they took back over Afghanistan. The leader.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure. I know he released.
It was under his administration. He released the leader of Afghanistan
when he made the agreements with the Taliban before.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
The
Taliban leader, he released and put him back out there, and he took back over Afghanistan.
Yeah, he also released 5,000 T-ban people that were in jail too.
That was his first term.
Right.
I don't know how people they forget that. Don't forget that, but they
don't forget it. They just don't care.
Well, it's called selective CRS.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they don't care. Like the hypocrisy from some of these people is just crazy. They will argue one thing one day, and then when it doesn't fit their narrative, they'll argue against the thing they were arguing the next day. The following day. Like I've seen it happen on this panel. I've had people come up on my shit one day, say one thing, then come up the next day and say another thing. They just don't care.
They don't care that he pardoned people just so they could join ICE and do exactly what they were doing on January 6th.
Yeah, I mean, in like the right wing, don't tread on me, but you've got to comply. Like what the?
It's like supply
Twilight
and demand.
Zone.
It's supply and demand.
You want to know when "Don't Tread on Me" fit America really, really well?
2024, January 6th.
1944.
I was going to say that.
D-Day. America said, "No, you're not going to do this. Don't tread on me. We're taking the shit back."
Yeah, and then all those fucking Nazis made their way over here during Operation Paperclip and probably got a bunch of the people in America together, and they all elected Donald Trump years later.
The guy who invented the V2 rockets? Sorry.
Go ahead, man.
The guy who invented the V2 rockets, who was actually one of those people who was in NASA. What was his name?
Werner von Braun?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why would you bring someone over like that? He should be. He should be
Because they were
prison for
useful
that.
to what we wanted. Because we don't care about dictators or people committing G-side.
At the time,
we don't care.
Over. At the time,
We literally
he was brought
have
over.
we've let Bibi Netanyahu with standing ovations in our own government as he's committing literal genocide.
Yeah,
Well,
the
that
U.S. has
gentleman,
never
Von
cared.
Braun, when he was brought over, he was detrimental in the creation of what we used on Japan.
Yeah, I know.
And then instead of just pushing him away or getting rid of him, they used his brain for NASA to get us on the moon.
Mr. Focus, do you believe what we did against Japan was wrong?
I believe
it was wrong.
The
It
nuke?
was wrong, but
Yeah.
unfortunately at the time it was necessary.
Necessary, absolutely, and that's exactly what made it right.
Was it necessary?
I love Japan.
No,
bro.
it was
I-
necessary because we
It-
were in a
that
situation. We were in a situation that was not gaining any ground. They weren't gaining any ground. There was a stalemate. It would have gone on forever and ever and ever and ever.
Nonsense.
Do you guys
Yes,
think
it
that?
would've.
Do you think that Nazis say it's what they did was necessary?
No.
I think it was. I
You
think it
can't
was
make that
all.
analogy.
I
That's
think
an
Yes,
they're
you
all.
incomplete
can.
analogy.
Yes, you can.
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
No, you cannot, because you have to look at the individual variables within each situation. If you don't do that, and then upon doing that, you assess the quantitative element, okay? These are what play into the difference between what happened in Schmatzi, Germany, and what took
Well,
place
that
in
you
the
use
United
the
States.
same argument every time you support Bibi and what he's doing in Gaza.
I support Bibi Netanyahu because you continue to misrepresent the concept of Zionism, which is merely the right of self-determination of the Jewish people in their ancestral homeland. And by the way, Angela, I find it absurd. I find it
you're so
literally
full of shit.
literally walking into the looking glass to even for one moment to consider that Israeli Jewish people, that Jewish people are not indigenous to
I
the
feel,
Levant.
I feel sorry for the people in Palestine.
Right?
The Palestine and
So do
Israel
I.
issue has been going on for thousands of years. You didn't know that?
See,
And
Mr.
the
Mr.
reason why
Liberal,
you
Mr.
support
Liberal,
Israel
I
is
know.
because you think Israel has Trump in his back pocket.
See, I want to address the host very briefly. Mr. Liberal, I do not want to come on this panel and hijack your panel with another issue, but these people are
No, it has
literally
not.
saying things. I have held my tongue, okay? I don't want to switch over from a topic that you would rather not talk about. You're the boss here, okay? But when I hear these lies being perpetrated over and over again in both the media and on TikTok
What lie?
at a certain plate, okay, number one, that Jewish people are not indigenous to the Levant. Let's talk about that. Number
Not all
two,
Jewish people are indigenous.
Sir,
No,
sir,
that's
sir.
not right.
No.
It's a lie.
No,
but
let me
Ashkenazi-
explain to
no,
you
no, no,
how
no,
I
sir.
know for a fact that it's not true. Because if you go and look at the Jewish law, they have a right of return, right? And so you'd think that anybody who is indigenous to the land could come back, except for the fact that converts are given right of return, sir.
sir. That's true.
So
That's
it is
true.
not true that Jewish people are indigenous to that land. That is absolutely not true.
Sir, there are converts, yes, but there are also converts regarding other indigeneities, okay? You can literally
By
be
saying
accepted in
Jewish
certain
people
tribes.
are indigenous, it is a false statement, sir.
No, sir, it is a
No,
true
it is.
statement, and let me tell you
No,
why.
it isn't. It's
Because
false.
once you,
It's false. Genetic studies tell otherwise,
Let
though.
me make my point. Let me make my point.
Sure.
If you don't want me to, you're the boss, okay? This
No,
is
no,
my
make your
concept
point.
with an issue. Okay, my point is this, is that once you establish indigeneity of Jewish people to their ancestral homeland, then upon that, self-determination, okay, upon that right of self-determination in their ancestral homeland, they are free to promote any kind of domestic policies regarding immigration, okay? So the need for all Jewish people to return to Israel, even if some of them are not indigenous, is because literally those who oppress them, those who literally try to make them extinct,
Nobody's
had
oppressing
no
them now.
qualms in including converts also amongst them. So Israel is literally
Look,
the
past
place.
sufferings do not equate to future oppression. Right,
There's
you don't
no
get
future
to oppress.
oppression as it
No,
exists
they're
today, so
oppressing
there is-
people right now in Gaza. What are you talking
they're
about,
not.
bro? Yes, they absolutely
not
are, and they
oppressing.
have been ever since Israel was created in the 40s.
That's not
Israel
true.
was created in the 1900s.
Actually,
It is
Israel
true.
was- Israel,
Well, hold
Israel
on.
and
I'm not
Palestine's
done
been-
yet, Crab.
So-
I'm not
but-
done yet. No. You
say
don't get
oppression
to
by
go
what
back like 2,000 years and say, 2,000 years ago, I know I'm white as the driven snow now because my family's been in Europe for the last 2,000 years. But a long time ago, my people were from there, and that's not even true anyway. Because here's what I know is that every human on planet Earth has genetics that you can trace back to that fucking area. Why? Because that's where everybody came from. And I'm not going to go over and say, I'm indigenous to Africa. So I'm going to go and I'm going to take my land and it's mine. And the people that are there, you've got to go. You've got to go. And then I go there and get skin cancer, second highest rates of skin cancer up until 2008 for a reason. They're not indigenous to the area, man. They're not.
Liberal, you're 100% right.
You're 100% incorrect, sir. You're 100% incorrect.
Can I ask a question? 100% right with liberal.
Okay. First of all,
When did
indigeneity
Israel
has nothing to do
become
with
their
DNA.
homeland?
Indigeneity has nothing to do with DNA, nor does it have to do with skin cancer. Wait, what it has to do with indigeneity is an absolute social construct. Okay?
Wait, you didn't
It
answer
is-
me.
I'm
When did
making
Israel
a
become
point.
their
That's because I
homeland?
Well,
want to address
he's
Mr.
technically
I want to
responding to
address
what
the
I
point
said,
first,
and
I'll
then
answer you. Okay.
and then after let
Indigeneity,
Dangerfield do
once
it.
again, is a social construct having nothing to do with physical aspects and or in DNA. Okay, what it has to do with is the maintenance. No, it does. Look it up, sir. Look it up. Look up. Does DNA have anything to do with indigeneity? It does not. Okay. What the Israelis, or excuse me, what the Jewish people have is a continuous presence in the land. Number one, indigenously, in terms of indigeneity, they have maintained the customs, right? And yes, the language itself was disestablished, but by reestablishing that language, it actually strengthens their claim to indigeneity. Rather than sit and cry about the
Only
consequences of history,
15
why are you interrupting me?
I'll
I
let you
didn't
finish.
interrupt you.
But I would like
Thank
to
you.
debunk
Yeah,
you.
Absolutely, and you won't. But anyway, once again, if you reestablish your ancestral language as an indigenous people, that actually strengthens your claim to indigeneity, number one. Number two, they have a continuous language, which the Palestinians do not. The Palestinian people speak Arabic. Okay.
Are you
Number
done?
three, no, I'm not done yet. And number four, on top of a continuous presence, on top of an is the religious aspect. Religion does constitute one of the criteria for indigeneity. And the last one is the organized society. The last organized society was in that region that was not a colonizer, was one that followed the Canaanites, by the way, was one of a Jewish kingdom. There has never been a Palestinian organized governmental society in the region.
I want to point out that Israelites of old, right? They actually displaced another population when it existed before. They were immigrants of Mesopotamia, right? They came from another country. What are you talking about? And they went there, took it over.
And
They took it
landed.
over for like 500 years and then were kicked out. And then 2,000 years later, they come back and they're like, it's ours. Look, we're going to start speaking the language again and playing the music and stuff and wearing the
And by the way,
hats.
Palestine was
And that
the-
makes us indigenous.
Okay. They landed
I wanted
in
to say
Egypt,
something.
Lebanon, and Jordan, not
So-
Israel.
So when he uses this whole claim about Hebrew being this native language, they only use 15% of ancient Hebrew. The rest of it is Yiddish. It is mixing with Arabic. It is literally a language that was created in order to make people feel that they were indigenous, even though they're only using a very, very small percentage of an ancient language. They weren't
the
speaking the
ancestral home. I'm going to
continuous.
say this again.
I'm
Can
not
I
trying to
please-
counter.
just
I
please
want to
say,
ask a question. A point
when
of
they
information.
left supposedly Egypt, they landed in Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon. That's where they landed, not
Angela,
in
are
Israel.
you
Oh man, dude,
Angela,
you
are
don't know
you
what
saying-
their kingdom was called. The Oman Kingdom, Oman Kingdom, and by the way, the Palestinians have been around since 42 BC, whatever, AC or BC. I don't know which one, but I just read it.
Okay, they supposedly wandered the desert for 50 years. No. They found homes elsewhere. Israel became a state when basically the whole world said, hey, let's give them a place to live.
Yep.
Especially after World War II.
That's factually.
My dad.
That's factually incorrect.
It is incorrect.
My dad was on a warship, 3 warships that brought Sea Camp survivors to Israel right after World War II. He was with the OSS. Okay?
Yeah, we got to address that.
He knew his shit.
Yeah, you said the whole world came together and decided to give them a state. This is factually incorrect.
No, I didn't say the whole world.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did. I apologize.
Yeah.
I didn't mean the whole world.
But actually,
the United States
that's not
decided.
the part. Yeah, so that's not the part that needs to be addressed. Sir, it sounds like there's some Tron playing in the background. Can you please mute up?
Tron? Is that Tron?
You playing Pac-Man?
Is that Wenben? Dangerfield.
It might be Asteroids. Thank you. Yeah, so the part that needs to be addressed isn't the whole world. It's the fact that they were given a state. This is factually incorrect. So if you take a look at Resolution 69, Israel's application for membership to the United Nations, this didn't happen until 2 years after they declared their independence. Independence from who? We still don't know yet because they had no one to establish independence from. Regardless, the state was founded through violently displacing Palestinians. Nobody gave them permission to do so. There was no signature. There was no body that came together and said, hey, let's give them this land. There's no such document exists. They did it forcefully against the will of the world. This is according to historical documentation, not just from the United States, but from Russia, China, any of the major players at the time. Their historical records match. They say, hey, look, we tried to intervene and tried to do this peacefully, but the Jewish agency has refused. They're going to move forward by means of violence. And they did. And this is why in today's world, Israel still doesn't have borders. It has ceasefire lines. It has ceasefire lines with Lebanon, Syria, and the Palestinians. There is a mutual agreed upon boundary between Israel and Egypt, also Israel and Jordan, which is contingent upon a peace treaty. But Israel does not have clearly defined borders. They don't exist. They have ceasefire lines.
I feel sorry for the Palestine people. They've been treated like this in the whole same day since they've been around. It's like that when the Egyptian people, the pharaohs did to the Jewish people. Two things don't make it right. It's all wrong.
Yeah, as a Palestinian, I'll tell you, we don't need you to feel sorry for us. Just stop sending weapons to our enemies. Like, we're good. We're good on our own. We don't need
I love you guys' culture, bro. I love you guys' culture. Your culture is amazing. Muslims' culture is amazing.
Well, Palestinian culture is a mixture of actually Jews, Christians, Muslims, atheists, pagans, Druze.
It's true.
I didn't know that. I still love your culture, though.
Well, it's the Holy
crazy.
Land. Thank you so much. Yes, we do have an established culture. We do have a national dish. Israel does not. If you go to Israel and request their national dish, you'll actually get a plate of emptiness. If you don't believe me, look that up.
I'm sorry. Are you serious?
Israel is 85 miles wide by 235 miles long. Okay?
You get a plate
There's
of
not
emptiness.
enough room for the Israelites, let alone the tourists, let alone the immigrants, let alone everything else. So they've been trying to expand since 1998. Netanyahu was actually the first to send money to the H group.
This is factually incorrect.
I don't remember if it was 98
sir,
or
this
what.
is factually incorrect. Yeah, Netanyahu has never sent a penny to
Yes,
the H
he
group.
did. Look it up.
This is factually incorrect. So we got to
it up.
address this as well. These are the consequences of consuming Western media. Not only do I have to look it up, I can establish the resources here for you on the panel.
Well, you're so knowledgeable. Let us
Yes, I am.
know
I'm
did.
Palestinian. Yes, thank you
Who
so
gave
much.
them-
I know
who
this like
gave
the
the
back
H
of my
group
hand.
money?
They actually gave. So Iran.
Oh, they gave
actually
it to
gave them
themselves.
some money.
Okay.
Can I speak? Thank you so much. So Iran has
you're
actually.
the only one who does speak.
Jesus Christ. Can I just get a statement out? Thank you so much. Every time you establish some propaganda, I'm going to address it because IQs drop, right? You heard this statement somewhere on the media that Netanyahu gave H Group money, and you regurgitated it up here without actually looking it up. So no different than the West Bank. Under agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians, the Israelis collect taxes and redistribute them to the West Bank and Gaza. This is under the agreement of the withdrawal plan, all right? The disengagement plan that was established in 2005. This is how it's done, all right? So the Palestinians work, they pay their taxes, the taxes go to Israel, Israel does the accounting, collects them and redistributes them. They've stopped redistributing them over the last 2 years. But prior to that, instead of Netanyahu making the direct payments back, giving the Palestinians money, their money back, he thought he would be able to evade opposition's criticism by doing it through Qatar. But not one fucking penny has ever gone from a shekel, an Israeli new shekel, to a Palestinian. It's never happened.
Have you read the World Court's opinion?
The ICJ?
Yes.
Yes, I've read their advisory opinion.
Okay, so what does it say? Right at the beginning, his first thing that he did that they're trying to get him up on charges for, giving money to
No, there isn't. You just made that up.
Didn't he?
So
I
if
didn't
we pulled up
make
the
it up.
advisory, yeah, you
I
just
read
made that
it.
up. Yeah, I know you probably didn't read it. It sounds like a lie because the ICJ case has to do with genocide. It has
what
nothing.
was he found guilty of?
He hasn't been found guilty of anything yet. He's been indicted in Israeli courts. He's got a warrant out in the ICC. What do you
Yes.
mean found guilty?
I thought they found him guilty. I'm sorry.
Apology not accepted. Just be careful with your statements because IQs drop when you regurgitate them.
Well, you know what? I'm an old man, and sometimes I listen too much to what it says on the news.
I don't watch them. I respect that. It's that easy. All you got to do is say, hey, look, I heard this somewhere. I didn't look it up. Let me fact check this. It's that easy.
This is the propaganda that I think is going around, and fish like me bite. You know, thanks for correcting me. The only thing that I know is that why was Israel, even before what's going on now, going into Palestine, going into Gaza, and taking property that didn't belong to them?
So back then, they weren't even called Israel. They were just called the Jewish Agency, which was approved even under Ottoman times for them to come in and kind of get their own self-segregated lands. Jews, if you've paid attention to them, wherever they live, doesn't matter whether it's in Palestine or the United States or Japan or Russia, they self-segregate. They want their own hospitals, their own schools, their own community. And they're allowed to do such. It was no different in Palestine. The only difference was they decided to get armed and carry out Jewish terrorist attacks against Palestinians to establish this fake state that was never approved by anybody. Not an international body or not a specific body, never happened. They just moved forward by doing so. I think we've read the Fruce series here, Liberal Loudmouth. Do you remember that document
Yes.
I sent to you? Mm-hmm. That's one of the most telling historical documents. It's a correspondence between the Secretary of State at the time of the United States to the representative to the United Nations, and they were communicating back and forth with each other. And basically, what Dean told the other guy was, "Hey, look, they're going to move forward with establishing a Jewish state by force of arms in 10 days." And we tried to step in. We tried to get them to agree to peace, and we came out publicly with this, but they're refusing, and they're going to move forward by establishing this state violently. And the biggest issue I have is what's going to happen. What's going to happen after 10 days in the United Nations? They're going to be talking about this. We're going to have an emergency session about how the formation of this Jewish state, is a danger to the entire international body that we just established. We're going to be criticized over this.
How much
And
fun
he was
are
right.
Trump's not invited?
Can I get a chance to respond, please?
Sure.
I'd like to get a chance to say something for once between the three of you. So,
Mr. Liberal said that I could respond. I've been very quiet for a long time. Number one, when you talk about your alliance,
Again, we have how many numbers do we got this time?
Okay, Mr. Eucalyptus, when you talk about alliances, okay, I understand and I respect that you are indigenously a Palestinian in terms of indigeneity, sir. However, also I realize that you are an American. Your alliance as an American is with the Israeli nation. It is one of the best alliances. It is one of the most nurtured alliances in the entire planet.
It's parasitic.
In my opinion, okay, bullshit, whatever you say. When in my opinion, okay.
Yeah, that's a
Number
lie.
two.
It's not just an opinion. That's like you made that up.
I did not interrupt you, Eucalyptus, please. Sir.
All right, just wrap it up.
Once
Save
again-
everybody the suffering.
Well,
sir, don't tell me to
Eucalyptus,
wrap
to
it
be
up.
fair, you went on for like 5 minutes. So
you.
don't
And I'm
tell him to
requesting-
wrap it
I'm
up when you did not yourself.
Okay,
So
thank you. Then I'm
go ahead,
requesting- If you
LA.
went on for 5, I am respectfully requesting 2. Number 1, that alliance exists. It's just reality. Number 3, okay, regarding the prosecution of violence by the Israelis, okay, you had a golden opportunity. They declared their independence upon recognition. They declared their independence, okay. Now, by the same prosecution of violence that was your response, you intended to militarily eliminate them as an entity, as a state, and even as a people by the same prosecution of violence. Now, what the 5 Arab countries that invaded that nation, okay, it's the same. You had a chance at that.
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about invaded Israel?
Invaded
That was
Israel. 5 Arab
Israel.
nations, right?
What are you talking about? They invaded that area. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
No, sir. They did not invade that
Yes,
area.
they did.
Sir, they established, sir. And by the way, if you look at the media, if you look at the historical documentation made by Eliezer Taber, okay, they were being. It was actually a fight. Okay, it was a fight which the Palestinian side was vastly outnumbered. And vastly outsupplied, okay? They didn't have a chance. They literally lost a conflict. By means of power, this is what established the nation of Israel. But it was a power that the Palestinian people could have petitioned for against. Instead, they intended and they actually prosecuted, along with 5 other Arab countries. By the way, the Palestinians existed then as an entity that provided paramilitary support to those 5 nations, okay? So the same power that he descends against is the same power that they utilized in response to Israel's declaration of independence. Had there been no establishment of violence at that point upon establishment of the Declaration of Independence, then things would have moved on. You could have petitioned for proper representation by means of the Security Council. You could have petitioned for
you coulda,
Israel
woulda,
not
shoulda.
existing. But what you chose to do was you chose to prosecute a war. When you lost that war,
What the fuck are you talking
moved-
about?
Everything.
I have no idea.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm lost.
It's.
Are you serious? Are you
So,
serious?
liberal, you
Shit
notice
is a
how
heart attack.
Okay, let me explain.
I have no
Let me
idea what
explain.
you're talking
There
about.
was a
You're
Liberal,
talking
you
about.
notice when,
You're talking
East
about
LA
a
speaks.
petition.
Yeah, you notice when
There
East
was-
LA speaks, there's no back and forth. He just goes on yapping for minutes.
Oh,
That's what I
shut
meant
your
when I
mouth.
said
and he
wrap it
keeps
up.
interrupting everybody.
Well, I
You went
know,
for
but
5
let
minutes,
me
sir.
let me
You went
deal
for
with that.
5 minutes. I
That's
have
true.
not gone for 5 minutes.
5
Well,
minutes.
you're
5
you're
minutes
you're
uninterrupted.
over a minute for sure. You're
I know.
probably
You- I
almost
asked
at
for
2
two,
minutes.
sir. I asked for
Yes,
two. You said
and
I
I
could have
just
two.
interjected because I've been waiting for a point and a purpose of what you're saying, and it hasn't come yet. So I stopped you
Then- okay,
so that
then
you
I'll-
can
you know what?
because
I'll
I have no
disengage.
idea
I'll
what the
disengage
fuck it
and
is
make a
you're
point.
talking
I'll
about.
disengage. That was the point, sir. The point
East
is.
LA, this is a
I'm going
dissertation.
to,
Not a
let me make
point.
the point. Let me make the point. The point is, while Mr.
Dimensional
Eucalyptus
rant.
here dissents against the usage of violence to establish his position, okay, this is precisely what his side did. They authorized and they prosecuted violence to
We're all
eliminate the
confused.
Jewish state. So by that basis, on what he is saying, he is using the exact same method that he accused the Israelis of utilizing.
Okay, fantastic. Let's check out the United States historical records. As we can tell here, this is from the Fruit series. This is the Foreign Relations of the United States. Anybody can look this up. It's recorded. It's record kept under the Office of the Historian. As you can see here, this is Foreign Relations of the United States, Volume 5, Part 2, the Near East, South Asia, and Africa. So when we go into 1948, we see this correspondence between the Director of the Office of the United Nations of Affairs, Rusk, to the Undersecretary of State Lovett. So this was dated May 4th, 1948. And this document is the future course of events in Palestine. So Rusk tells Lovett, the refusal of the Jewish Agency last night to agree to our proposal for an on-the-spot truce negotiations in Palestine on the grounds that they could not accept the moral obligation to undertake such conversations rather clearly reveals the intention of the Jews to go steadily ahead with the Jewish separate state by force of arms. While it is possible that Arab acceptance of our proposal might place the Jewish Agency in such a position vis-a-vis public opinion that it would have to go through the motions of looking for a truce, it seems clear that in light of the Jewish military superiority which now obtains in Palestine, the Jewish Agency will prefer to round out its state after May 15th and rely on its armed strength to defend that state from Arab counterattack. You see how they mention that? It's a counterattack because the establishment itself is an attack.
That's right.
Even so, prior to this event, the Jewish Agency was actually carrying out massacres on the Palestinians and just taking
Tea
one
attacks,
village after another.
You could call them.
American-backed Jewish tea attacks. That's what I like to
That's
call
right.
them. So military operations after May 15th will probably be undertaken by the Haganah with the assistance of the Jewish tea organizations, Irgun and Stern. Copies of Consul General Wasson's Excellence reports. By the way, this General Wasson, he was the first American diplomat to be assassinated by the Israelis. And his telegram by 5:30 on May 3rd are attached and provide the estimate of the British general officer commanding to the probable course of military events after the British withdrawal on May 15th. If these predictions come true, we shall find ourselves in the UN confronted by a very anomalous situation. The Jews will be the actual aggressors against the Arabs. However, the Jews will claim that they are merely defending the boundaries of a state which were traced by the UN and approved, at least in principle, by 2/3 of the UN membership. The question which will confront the Security Council in scarcely 10 days' time will be whether Jewish armed attack on Arab communities in Palestine is legitimate or whether it constitutes such a threat to international peace and security as to call for coercive measures by the Security Council. So as you can tell, this goes on for a full page. Anybody can pull up this document, read it for themselves. Mr. Liberal has done so. But this American official, right, the director of the United Nations Affairs, communicating with the Secretary of State at the time, literally debunked what Mr. Snaggletooth East LA just said 77 years ago. This document has been available since 2018. It became declassified in 2018. And by the way, this is not the first time I've read it in front of Snaggletooth, but he refuses to accept fact and documented history. He just wants to regurgitate Zionist propaganda. That's what he's paid to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, everyone.
And to be clear, like when the Arab counterattack came, these people had been under, British occupation and French occupation for some time. They were under arms embargoes. It was basically 5 different nations attacking in 5 different ways. They weren't centralized. They didn't, there was no unified front there. And the weapons that the Zionists had were far superior. I mean, I think it was, Czechoslovakia sent them they had planes, they had fucking arms, they had rifles. So, this notion that somehow they were better, they just had more shit and more support, sadly. And they took it by force.
United States.
Yeah, they took it by force. And that's a fact.
Question I had, somebody asked something? Sorry.
Sure. Yes, please. And also, I think Focus wanted to say something. Was that you earlier, Focus?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Somebody asked a
Rando.
question. Somebody asked a question about where the Jewish population originally stemmed from.
Europe. It's pretty easy. I mean, you can look
Can
this
I
up,
answer
right?
my question?
Yeah, go ahead, Focus.
The question was, and when I looked it up, it says originally the Jewish population were the Israelites that were escaping Egyptian rule.
Correct.
They ended up in the Canaanites.
Uh-huh.
And in these, hold on a second. That's why I had it.
You do realize that's a fairy tale, don't you?
It's not a fairy tale.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's in their
Just 'cause
actual
it's in the
national
Bible?
history.
It's in the Bible.
This is where you're
It's in the history
uneducated.
book. Nobody wrote history books
When
back
you
then.
look up the Jewish population, it tells you where they came from.
It's all
They
guesswork.
ended up in the Canaanites
They
population.
ended up in Syria, Jordan, and Egypt.
And
They did not end up in
and
Israel.
earlier before that, they were in Levant.
Well, look,
It
they
says it
believe
right in
they
their
believe their Bible, right? They believe their Bible,
Well,
don't
that's
they?
it. That's what they're going by.
They believe their Bible, and the Bible says where they came from. They were Egyptians.
They were Egyptian. They were the Israelites.
Correct. And they went into somebody else's land and they took it for, I don't know,
Canaanites and southern Levant.
600 years. And then they were kicked out. And then 2,000 years later or so.
Don't
it's
forget,
theirs.
they had to
It's crazy.
wander for 50 years.
So whether that's actually like historically accurate, it's what they believe. At least that's
But
what's
it's
written in
their
their
Jewish history. That's where
So-
I read it. Was their Jewish
Right.
history.
So whether it's a
It's
fairy tale or not, you know,
mythology.
we could
Ron was taught this in the Bible
Yeah.
when we was growing up.
now.
too.
And that's a fair point, Focus, which I made earlier. But Rando, you wanted to jump in there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat. It just kind of talks about what it's a 1-minute YouTube video. I don't know if you want to play it. But the Zionist entity and the people that were arriving in the 40s were also attacking the British, and we can see that from this clip. And as far as people being Jewish in the land, we all know that there were Jewish population before 1800. That's people migrate. Religion's not tied to DNA. The problem was not with the Jewish people that lived there. It was with the Ashkenazi European Jewish people who flooded that area in the 40s, who had been displaced for a diaspora long enough for them to become white. Like,
That's
how many
right.
generations does it take for them to become white? So,
Well, according to
Skin color
the
does not
scientific
establish
records,
indigeneity, and it doesn't
Rando,
establish-
9,000
skin color
years
establishes nothing regarding
and
the
a
fact.
migration due
Skin
to
color
movement with
establishes nothing. Now,
agriculture.
neither does DNA and or race.
I'm sorry,
What we're
I was
talking
trying to
about here
listen to
is a
Eucalyptus. I don't
what we
believe
are
it was your
talking about
turn,
here is
East
a
LA.
Well,
social
East LA.
construct. It is
East LA.
indigeneity. It is
East LA.
indigeneity.
East LA. What you just said, that skin color doesn't have any indication of like where you're from. That's bullshit. Because people that are
what I
white
said,
who
sir. I
were
did
from
not say
Europe,
that.
for example, in areas where UV was, not so strong, they needed vitamin D, and so those humans adapted by having less melanin so that they could obtain more vitamin D. That's why we have white people. And when they go to places that they are not technically from, they get skin cancer. Okay? And so you don't, white people going to places where they get skin cancer means they're not from that area, right? And so that's,
Please,
when you see a
Liberal,
white
Mr.
person
Liberal.
in an area where
okay.
it's full of black and dark brown people, I mean, come on.
But
I'm indigenous.
By
got
the way,
something to
Mr.
say real
Liberal, I
quick.
address you as Mr. Liberal because I don't know if I'm going to offend you by calling you a loudmouth, so I'll call you Mr. Liberal. Mr. Liberal, I was addressing specifically indigeneity, which
You were
has nothing
interrupting
to
my
do-
turn is what you
Why
were doing.
are you
That's true.
interrupting me? I was
Just to be
about
clear,
my
it was my
point.
turn.
Yeah,
Now,
actually,
again, Mr.
East LA.
Liberal,
Actually,
Mr.
let me go
Liberal,
ahead and mute because Rando brings up a great point, and even I engaged in it. I fell for the bait. You did interrupt her. She was in the middle of talking. So
Yeah.
let's let Rando finish, and then
talking, dude. Okay,
East
go ahead.
LA. Because I was going to play a video. She asked me to play a video. I've got it pulled up and ready to go. But Rando, if you want to finish what you were saying, we'll play the video, and then LA, I'll go to you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Rando.
that was just, it actually ties into the video. Is just the point is not that there was no Jewish people on the land over the millennium that the Ashkenazi had been displaced. The problem started when the European people came to the land and started colonizing it. And that's just, if you want to go ahead and play the video, and that'll be the end of my turn.
And I don't know
Thank
what
you.
this video is or says, so forgive me. I'm trusting you, Rando.
I promise it's good. It's a good one.
All right, let's see.
Adding to the present Palestine troubles, more illegal immigrant ships arrive in Haifa harbor. On board, cargoes of refugees take their first look at the land they are determined to enter at any cost. Although conditions on board were bad, It's thought that the refugees had traveled more comfortably in parent ships for the greater part of their journey, a journey organized by the Jewish underground in Europe. Strong government measures against this menace to security have now been taken. Any further ships will be directed to Cyprus or elsewhere, a determined move to show that Britain's hand will not be forced in framing a new policy for Palestine.
Interesting. And there you go.
Yeah, look at all those
What year is
crackers
that from?
floating in the water. Fuck out of here. Those people are from the land. They ain't from the land. They're
What
from the
year is that
camps.
from?
Do what?
I can go pull it up. I believe it's 1947.
Okay, so that's 1,300 years after the Jewish population seized Israel and the first Crusades tried to push them out.
Can I say
Okay, what's your
something?
point? Does Right to Return go back 1,300 years?
But what I'm saying
So
is,
was the land empty?
Mr.
Was the
Liberal.
land empty for 1,300 years?
no.
Okay,
That's
so
the
you have
problem.
fucking indigenous people on the land. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Mr. Liberal, let me know when it's my turn. I'll wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, LA. I
Okay.
said that LA was gonna go, so go ahead.
Okay, start with number one.
I don't remember if the term utilized, and okay, I'm assuming that 1947 is the correct date. Those are Jewish people that are coming literally from Europe, coming from the imminency of their extinction to their ancestral homeland. And why do I say it's their ancestral homeland? Because, once again, neither race nor DNA establishes a criterion to indigeneity. What does establish it is the maintenance of the culture and the maintainment of the language, which is Hebrew. Okay, these people have roots to Israel. However, they were displaced and forced into a diaspora. Those who live in diasporas who retain their indigeneity are indigenous to the land still, number one. Number two, to in any way recognize those people as illegal aliens is an affront. Those people literally were refugees from Europe trying to escape death camps. Now, was this at the hands of the Palestinian people? Of course not. But the Palestinian people had an opportunity upon the birth, the entirety. If you read, by the way, I'll land my plane because I realize I'm going more than a minute. If you read the Declaration of Independence of Israel, within that Declaration of Independence, it establishes and acknowledges the recognition of a Palestinian state in the region. They were willing, they had the opportunity to have the state. Bottom line, they chose to fight the Jewish people and eliminate their nation instead of trying to achieve political expediency or a solution other than violence.
Okay, can I just say something
I
real
just
quick?
want to point out that Yazidism and apparently Judaism are two sides of the same coin, literally. This is one
Remember
coin.
I was talking about
each side.
Remember I was talking about the 3 ships that my father accompanied? Not everybody was Jewish. There were Russians, there were Greeks, there were Italians, they all went to find a new life. Okay, they were on the ships too. They were not born Jewish. They were not practicing Jews. They were people from around, that were held in sea camps. And that's who he returned to Israel. Anybody who wanted to go there was allowed.
Still to this day. You just
Can
have
I
to
say
convert.
something? Can I say something?
convert. Yeah, what's up?
I said we all came from, at some point, we all came from one person. It says in the Bible, it said that we all came from one person. It says it was in the garden in Adam and Eve. They sinned on that apple, whatever they call it, and we all came from one country, and I believe it was Africa. We all came from one person, and we just broke off from. We're all related at some point in history. And we just broke apart from each other.
Okay, now you're talking to a historian.
So
do you realize that the Old Testament was written supposedly 600 years after the Red Sea parted, and it took 500 years to write it? Don't you think parting the Red Sea would have been used?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to bring religion into something that's scientific. You can we come from Africa. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
We all came from
Well,
Africa.
you don't need to bring up religion in the Garden of Eden to make that point.
Yeah, but I didn't know what to say. So.
Well,
Wouldn't
no, I'm just
prove that we would all be like ancient relatives? Doesn't DNA disprove that we all didn't come from the same person, because we'd all be one big family?
Well, I mean, that's, we are family. All my brothers, sisters, and me. We're all one.
Yeah.
One.
I mean, great lyrics, but the DNA doesn't match, man. Like, we know that all of the Ashkenazi Jewish people trace back to 4 women.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to give a source document for all of this, because what you guys believe is true and has been proven by Harvard and also MIT. So Harvard School of Medicine and the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard published this study for everybody to come take a look at and read and educate themselves. So the authors are Iosif Lazaridis. His job is what he does is population models and runs core statistical analysis. Nick Patterson is an architect of statistical framework. Alyssa Malik is a data processing, sample comparison, and validation. That's what their roles were in this study. Also, Swapan Malik, computational genetics and quality control. David Reich, who is the senior author, he's a research director and final arbiter of conclusions. So what does this say? This study is about the ancient human genomes suggest 3 ancestral populations for present-day Europeans. And you guys have probably seen this floating around, like on the Nick Machaus. If you see this chart over here, the scatter chart, I guarantee you've probably seen this study rotate around, and the Zionists use this to go, see, the Jews did come from Israel. They did come from Palestine, the Ashkenazis.
Except that
here
we
they
all
are
did.
right here on this scatter chart. Not necessarily, if you go back far enough, but this study was, okay, let's figure out where these European populations came from. As you can see, they distinguish between Ashkenazi Jews and the rest of the ways people personally identified in Europe. So what does this study conclude? It concludes that the ties from the region of Palestine came from 9,000 years ago. This is in total thousands of years before anyone spoke a lick of Hebrew. So why did they migrate into Europe? This study suggests for agricultural purposes. So any Ashkenazi that says, hey, I do have a DNA link, which is less than 3%, the ones that can trace it back, because the reality is this population of Ashkenazi Jews are converts, like Ivanka Trump. Anyone who tries to convince you that somebody like from Japan or a Gagadolian from Papua New Guinea who have been inhabiting Papua New Guinea for the last 20,000 years just converted last week, and all of a sudden their DNA changed, it shifted, and now they're indigenous to Palestine, is factually incorrect. This has been disproven already by Harvard and MIT. Anybody that wants to go ahead and screenshot this study, you're more than welcome to. Here's the whole document. Go ahead, hit it with a screenshot, pull it up, and shove it in anybody's face who tells you, yeah, they came from there. Okay, fantastic. The evidence shows it was 9,000 years ago before anyone even spoke Hebrew.
So it was 3 ancestors said of all. We all came from one. I know that we all came from different regions. I said at some point I think we all came from one continent, but just at some point we all broke off into like different. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was the exit point from Africa, from which, as our understanding is, that we all came from. So at some point, every one of your ancestors probably walked through that very fucking region And I imagine they didn't just like all do it in one day and they're, well, we're just going to keep walking and we're not going to have any babies here. So I imagine a good portion of the population of humans have DNA they can trace back there.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, look, I've got 2% Levant DNA. Look, I must be Jewish and therefore I can go. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, now you can go and steal Khadijah's house just because you feel like it, because if somebody else doesn't steal, if you don't steal it, somebody else will.
Yeah, it's like, I get to go back to Africa. Give me my land, bitch. Like, what?
The Hasidic Jews, they don't have technology. They don't use technology. The Orthodox Jews, they don't use technology. They don't want anything. They don't want help from the outside world. So they stay as a close community with each other. They broke up from. I forget what they used to be called, but it was called Hasidic or something like that.
Hasidic. I'm going to make this point and drop. Thank you for having me up so much, Liberal. I appreciate it. Yeah. The reality is, the modern day Palestinians are the ones that maintain the continuity with the Hebrews who migrated there and established the Kingdom of Israel. That's not according to me. That's according to all the professionals in the field. All right. So the reality is, what these supporters of Israel don't want you to know is that the ancestral claim is false. It doesn't exist. Even if they did have this ancestral claim, your guys' argument is it still doesn't give you enough of a reason to go grape and pillage. This is a great point. But to destroy this claim as a whole, right, they can't live with the fact that the ancient Hebrews converted. They no longer wanted to be Jewish. They wanted to convert to Christianity and Islam, and some into atheism and paganism. And that's their right to do so. There was never a time in history where Jews or persons who identified as Jews were expelled from the land. This is factually incorrect. Yep. They always mention the Roman Empire kicking them out. The reality is, it wasn't only them, but it was anyone who was non-Roman was not allowed to live in Jerusalem. And this was exclusive to Jerusalem. Nowhere else in the land. This idea that they were kicked out into the diaspora, bullshit.
Because of who they were, right? That's
exactly.
Nonsense.
Bullshit. It's a fucking lie.
It was one group of people conquering another people that were there, that existed among all different kinds of people.
Yes, and here they are. You have bigots like Snaggletooth above me, just up here supporting, having no idea what they're supporting, just regurgitating
what's
this propaganda.
Because I don't know East LA, but it has occurred to me that a lot of people do know East LA.
No, I'll tell you what he was talking about, Mr. Liberal. I was attacked. I was attacked in a robbery by somebody, and they knocked my front teeth out by striking me.
Oh, I see.
Then they tried to. They tried to take my money away from me, and when I resisted, unfortunately, I had to neutralize them, and I did it severely. But it was I was under no prosecution. It was self-defense, and.
So what's the bank robbery story? Somebody was talking about, I think that was you as a bank robber. Or was that somebody else?
You're going to hear accusations about me that I'm a predator, an SX predator. You're going to hear accusations about me that I'm a bank robber, and you're going to hear a lot of accusations about me. None of them is. I've never spent a day in jail, sir. Okay, I've never been in a county institution, a federal institution, or a state institution.
What about a mental institution?
Or a mental. I've been in holding tanks. Okay, I was a fighting son of a bitch when I was younger. Okay, so I've been in holding tanks, but I've never been prosecuted of any kind of felonious activity. These are all false accusations.
Yeah.
Somebody literally brought up a picture of another person and tried to establish it as me. Yeah, which by the way,
that tracks illegal with TikTok. I mean, look, I heard these last couple of times you were on, and I pay that kind of stuff no mind because people do that shit to me too. People call me a racist, a transphobe, a misogynist. I mean, I'm all kinds of shit. I'm surprised they haven't accused me of being the second gunman on the grassy fucking knoll. So,
I'll tell you something.
I get it.
I'll tell you something, my brother. As far as the teeth thing is concerned, I could go to the dentist tomorrow and get veneers, but I'm enjoying life at this point so much that I just don't even want to spend a day in the dentist chair, trying to fix
Fuck the dentist,
so
man.
I can eat okay. I'm fine. I look like Jack Lambert. Okay, so
I don't know who that is.
He was the middle linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who also had a grill similar to mine. Okay. And he was a hell of a player, by the way. But anyway, sir.
They always go after the teeth, too, because, I have gappy teeth. People try to insult me. It's like, I've been hearing that shit since I was in fucking kindergarten. Come up with something original.
I always get bored because my learning disability, because I'm on the spectrum all the time on this app.
I have a question for East.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'd never heard this story. So somebody tried to steal something from you,
yes,
and you resisted violently, and you unalived them.
No. I didn't unalive them. I neutralized them. I didn't know. Thank God I've never unalived anybody in my life. What happened was.
But you did so through violence. You did resist through violence.
No. Self-defense is not violence. Self-defense, ma'am.
Resisting through violence is the literal embodiment of what self-defense is.
Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully, ma'am. I was under attack. I could have just completely stopped resisting. Okay. Had I done that, that person would have beaten me to a pulp. They had no intention of stopping. They were angry at me because I had the audacity to try to retain some of my dignity and not get robbed.
Right. So they were trying to again. Hang on.
You are making an accusation against me. So
I didn't make an accusation. I'm asking
I am
a question.
the one that we're talking about, and I am the victim here.
I'm asking
you are
a
literally
question.
minimizing the consequences. You are victim shaming, ma'am.
I'm not victim shaming.
You are
I'm
victim
trying to
shaming.
make
Ma'am,
a
listen
point.
to me carefully. Listen to me carefully, Rondo.
You've got your knickers all in a twist for nothing. I'm trying to understand.
Let me finish my statement, ma'am. Once again, that person was mercilessly beating upon me, and I responded by defending myself. That is simply what happened. Okay.
I agree with that, actually,
Thank you.
East LA. I agree with resisting somebody stealing something from you through violence and having to use violence.
Fuck them.
I think I know where you're going. Okay,
that they are not
You've been
gonna
neutralized.
Go ahead, make your point.
Go ahead,
Again,
Rando.
I'm trying, but you have to close your mouth.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's hear her out. Go ahead, Rando.
My point is that I agree with you, East LA. If somebody tries to steal something from me and I resist, and they make it clear that they're not going to stop doing this to me, and I resist through violence, that is my right. So I don't understand why you have such a problem with the Palestinians doing the same thing.
Yeah,
that's a great point,
exactly
Rando.
Point.
That's
No,
a great
I
point.
saw
Shit.
that point coming
You got
from a
called
mile
out,
away.
LA. All right,
No,
spin
I'm
that
not
one.
calling him out.
Spin that one. All right,
Because I
everybody.
knew.
Hold on. Let's hear what he's got to say. Go ahead.
I knew. When she started to expound, I immediately knew this is exactly where she was going.
Well, what's your rebuttal, sir?
Number one.
It's easy to see because it makes sense.
I'm going to answer you now if you allow me to. If not, I will mute and you can continue to talk. Now, are you going to let me speak or do you want to talk some more?
I would love to talk. I don't know, chat.
Go
what do you
ahead,
think?
then I'll mute.
Here,
Go
East
ahead.
LA. I mean, I'm just saying, I agree with you. I agree that everybody has a right to resist robbery and oppression through violent means, if necessary, if that's what it takes to stop. And that is exactly, you knew where I was going with it because you see the hypocrisy of your statement when you explain it like that and then try to moral launder and manufacture consent for genocide.
Okay, now here is the difference between
You're about to
me-
be neutralized.
No, I'm not. No, here's the difference between me and H group. Number one, okay. Number two, I resisted against my attacker. I did not throw rockets at his neighbors. I did not dig tunnels under the houses of his family so that I could run up from those houses to resist people that he was related to. I in no way put people in front of me to defend me. I didn't put children in front of me to provide a barrier between me and my attacker. This, by the way, is exactly what H Group did.
I don't dig tunnels. I neutralize.
By defending myself. I don't even want to say attacking. By defending myself against the attacker. Number one. Number two, regarding historical notations, okay, this also goes to Mr. Eucalyptus. Mr. Eucalyptus brought us scholarly interpretations of the truth based on what they have found within their research. I can provide my scholars. Mr. Eucalyptus can provide his scholars. If you cannot achieve historical fact by means of historical notations regarding what scholars say, because there are different variations of every issue. Okay, so on that ground, we are on an equal ground. The reason that I advocate for the existence of Israel is because upon the birth of that nation, which, by the way, whether you like it or not, was May 1948, May 15th, 1948, upon that point, there was the option.
We know it wasn't 3,000 years ago. Thank you for acknowledging that it was founded.
I didn't go any longer than you did. Okay, once again, if you're going to interrupt me, I'll mute. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear you finish because I'd like to ask you a question.
Yeah. With all respect, sir, she went an equal amount of time. I'm not going any longer than she did. So please, I will finish. Believe me, I'll land my plane. And by the way, if I do go too long, just say, wrap it up. And believe me, I'll go wrap it up in 10 seconds.
I will. Okay, I was listening to what you were saying. So
this
please
is the
continue.
Final statement. Okay. As things exist right now, Israeli state is number one there. And number two, it's not going to go anywhere ever unless it is conquered by means of violence. If that happens, the casualty figures will go into the 7-figure number. So what I advocate for now is a way to avoid people being unalived from here to fore. Thank you.
Okay, so your rebuttal to her was I didn't dig tunnels, but if your attacker had actually surrounded your house and wouldn't let you out without permission and only to get certain things, and they would only bring you certain types of food and certain types of thing for your home, would you dig a tunnel to get out?
No.
You wouldn't.
No,
you would stay under occupation. You would You would allow them to just continue to surround your house and not allow you to leave without permission. You would allow that? You'd be okay with it?
Because digging tunnels will inevitably lead to your demise. And by the way, if you don't think that's true, Hamas.
He was punching me in the face, but that was okay. But he was digging tunnels, and that's a bridge too far. Okay. You can't dig tunnels.
What about the tunnels under Al Shifa Hospital that Israel built while they were occupying it before 2006?
You just can't dig tunnels.
Yeah, there's a difference. Those tunnels were not being utilized to resist against anybody or
but they dug tunnels.
They were based on military operations.
They dug tunnels under the hospital, and then they said that and then they said that they were Hamas's tunnels after they dug them.
That is true.
Once again.
And then they committed war crimes by striking the hospital, which is a war crime based off tunnels.
Citing the same thing that they created at the hospital.
Tell me your source for the attack on the El Shifa hospital. What is your source?
In what regard?
The source I'll tell you your source because I know it. The source is the BBC, and that statement, that version of what happened has been debunked. Okay, number one. Number two, the hospital was not being attacked. What happened was there was a detonation in the adjacent parking lot. The hospital was under fire. Number two, many of the detonations that have taken place in Palestine, are as a result of misfired rockets launched by H Group. Okay, number two. And number three, whenever you establish any entity, whether it be a mosque, a hospital, a library, or a school where children once went to, Whenever you establish it as a military target by either storing supplies and or personnel within those places, then that becomes a viable military target. This is what Israel has done. Now, within all of that, has there been mistakes made? Of course. Warfare. I'm not going to say war is hell because that sounds trite, but the actual accounting of war is that it is an extremely brutal process.
Okay, I want to play a clip real quick.
The former Israeli prime minister didn't come out and say that the bunkers under Gaza hospital were built by Israel per the former Israel prime minister?
He didn't. I'm about to play that clip, but I got to fast forward it through the visuals of unalive babies because TikTok won't like that. So let me get to the beginning of this interview here. With
can I say something? I have to go in a minute.
1 second. Sure. Oh, can't show that. Okay. What say you, sir?
Can I go ahead and say my thing real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
The fact that this dude is leaking misinformation, getting his resources from BBC, is the fact that if you would do your actual research, the reason why Israel is the way it is because it has, like I say, it has ties with America, and America owns Israel, and it's been a puppet state since its creation. It's the fact that it's the president of, whatever his name, the president of Israel, who had done genocide, is the fact that you support a guy who murders anybody and wants a war with killing innocent Israelis and Palestine people. I thought a leader usually like Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, he wants peace. In order to fight against someone, you have to fight back.
Okay. Well, I want to listen to Ehud Barak explain something to East LA. So let's take a listen.
Nice to meet you. I'm going.
Yeah, thank you, Crab. I appreciate it.
Minister, and he was chief of the general staff of the IDF. Prime Minister, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Can I just start by asking you what is your view of whether your government, your military, has done a good enough job of proving their claim that there was a major command center and bunker under Al-Shifa?
It's already known for many years that they have in the bunkers that originally was built by Israeli constructors.
What did you say?
Were used as a command post of the Hamas and a kind of a junction of several tunnels, part of the system. I don't know to say to what extent it is a major. It's probably not the only kind of command post. Several others are under other hospitals or in other sensitive places, but it's for sure had been used by Hamas even during this conflict.
When you say it was built by Israeli engineers, did you misspeak?
No, look on her face. Decades ago, we were running the place. So we held them. It was many decades ago, 4 decades ago, that we helped them to build these bunkers in order to enable more space for the operation of the hospital within the very limited size of this compound.
Okay. All right. Well, that's sort of.
We knew about the bunkers because we built them.
Oh, there was also the quote calendar or the list of Hamas names, the list of age group names that were found. They pointed to a wall. There's a video walkthrough of an Israeli commander going, look
I remember
at this
that.
name.
Yeah.
And it was a calendar.
Right. Yeah, so do as we say, not as we do, and they were using that themselves when they had occupied that space. They'd use that for their own military purposes, and that's how they knew it was there because they made it. And they do it too. They put those missile batteries among residential neighborhoods too. Their Iron Dome shit, which becomes a target. So use the use of human shields or whatever, that excuse, that's bullshit.
What about Site 81? What about the Fortress of Zion? All of these military complexes located under dense cities in Israel.
Well.
You know, we can look at that. We can look at, here's a fun fact, kibbutzes. Specifically kibbutzes that sit within 4 to 9 kilometers of the Gaza border are called Rapid Response Security Teams, RRSTs. They are civilian volunteers who are funded and armed by the IDF that serve as the first line of counterterrorism against hostile infiltrators. So these, quote, communities of families that they put right on the Gaza border and then give them all these IDF guns and say, well, they're civilians. 26,000 before October 7th, 26,000 rapid response security team civilian volunteers living in kibbutzes with armories stocked, funded, and built by the IDF. So please tell me why it's okay to put a military outpost next to a playground and then cry when you get attacked on your stolen land.
May I answer to that?
Well, sure, David. But given that you said that's not what Ehud Barak said, even though I literally just played Ehud Barak speaking for himself.
Yeah, everyone heard that. That's
by
not
all
what
means.
he said, what you said.
Yeah, okay. He said what
literally
he said.
He said we build those bunkers to make more space in the hospital so it can work as a hospital.
They use it as command posts. You didn't hear him say that?
Hamas used it as command posts.
No,
but
that's
Israel
what he
built
said
it.
they did. He said they did. Yep.
No. He said Hamas did.
As command post. No,
But
he
Israel
said
built it
we built
to
it as
make
command
bigger,
post.
More space.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
You can play the video.
Selective hearing.
Contract.
I have a Zionist here telling me that what I just heard the man say isn't what he said. Surprise.
You didn't listen,
This is
but
my
okay.
shock face.
It's okay.
Another
Rando,
Zionist that
to answer to you-
lies.
Okay. Rando, to answer to you, it's not that they...
Okay. I'm sorry. What happened there?
Can you let me... Can
What happened?
Can you let me answer?
Wait.
He's having mic problems.
For some reason, your mic isn't working, bro. What's going on?
It's working pretty good.
What is that? Okay,
You're
go ahead.
muting me. That's what's going on. Okay. Anyway, so Rando, to answer to you, it's not that kibbutzim are command posts or bases or anything like that. They have a group of people that are they are volunteers and they get weapons to defend themselves in case something or someone comes into like hostile into their kibbutzim.
Perfect.
That
So
is the thing also.
hang on.
It,
So
it
stop right
happens
there.
close
Under
to
international
Gaza
law.
because it is a thing that happened many times in Gaza.
Yeah,
People
under
jumped
international
over
law,
jumped
if a
over
civilian picks up
Yeah.
a weapon and engages in combat under international law, does not that make them an armed combatant and therefore a valid military target?
Completely, yeah, but that's not the whole kibbutz. That's not kids and women, and that's not older
Well, it's
people.
not my fault that Israel
And that's
uses
also-
Well, then why did Israel shoot on their own people? Why did they use tanks and
human shield.
helicopters to fire on their own people?
saying-
Why would they
First of
do
all,
that?
those people,
Why wouldn't
those
they
people
put
are uniformed when they are
bases in front of
when they
them,
are-
in between
when
them?
they
Why
are-
did they put it next to a
And let me
playground?
talk. When they are in active duty, they have to wear a uniform and show themselves as security, and they are not.
Does Mossad have to?
Random people. It's not everyone. That's
Does
completely different
Mossad
thing.
have to wear their
No, Mossad
uniforms?
also doesn't work inside of Israel, anyways. What are you talking about?
Mossad is
Mossad
everywhere,
works
man.
strictly out of
They're
Israel.
in
It's like the
Gaza.
FBI.
They're in
The
Iran.
FBI and CIA. That's not inside of Israel.
Israel's such a bad actor, and I gotta say, I love the fact that the
Literally
world
just
is
voted,
waking
like,
up.
two people that are not inside of Israel.
David, I'll agree with you that when military
love it.
personnel are not wearing uniforms and not on duty, they are not technically armed combatants. But there's a little caveat to that. When you are an occupying power and an occupying force, you all become valid military targets.
Huh.
Okay, so everyone in Israel is a military target, including
Yes,
babies,
you are
women,
occupying the
children,
land.
and older
Yes.
people.
Yes.
That's your point. Okay. If you
Yes.
think it's like that, it's all right. Does that make everyone in Gaza a military target if they are attacking us? Or if
No,
they're in a
because
war?
they're being occupied, and under
do you
international
go
law,
from-
that occupied territories have a right to resist.
everyone-
How do you go from what she said
According
to
what
is
you're
everybody
saying,
in Gaza a target?
Everyone in Russia is a military target.
Are they
What?
occupying? Who are they occupying?
Ukraine?
They're occupying Ukraine.
Okay.
And Georgia, if you like count that also.
Well, technically, Ukraine split off and declared sovereignty and then promised that they wouldn't go to the UN and try to become a member. And then they reneged on that deal and tried to become a member, which is why this whole
Okay.
Russia-Ukraine conflict started again, because Ukraine
They are still
technically
being
went back on
occupied.
their word.
They're still being occupied.
Well,
By the way,
parts
didn't
of it,
Palestine-
because they're in
didn't
active
Palestine do that?
military. They're in a war. They're being occupied
Right,
in
but
war.
occupation is not illegal, David. Prolonged occupation is illegal. Prolonged.
Occupation is illegal, and you
Well,
just
look,
said that everyone is an occupier.
look, Russia, fuck
Everyone
Russia.
is an occupier.
Fuck
Wait,
Russia.
Brandon, are you going? Then are you moving the goalpost? Because you said that
Not
everyone
moving the
is
goalpost.
occupying. It's military.
Who
target.
gives a fuck?
So
Why
it's
are you
military
talking about
target.
Russia? Who cares about Russia? Fuck Russia.
Randa said that anyone
Russia
in Israel is
engages in the
military
same
target,
shit
even if
that
they
you
are
guys.
Because there's a
older
difference
people,
between a
and women,
temporary
and
occupation
whatever.
and prolonged occupation. Once you prolong occupation, it
That's not what you
becomes
said, though.
illegal, and then people have the right to resist prolonged illegal occupation.
First
Does
of
that
all,
not
that's
make
not
sense?
true. That
Do you
there is
not
no
understand like
there is
basic
no
concepts
difference
of law?
There is no legal difference between a prolonged occupation and a short occupation. That's not
There
true.
is.
First of
Okay,
all,
this is
second of all,
stupid.
you said-
This is a
second of all,
stupid.
you said
This
that
is a
everyone that
stupid
is
back and forth.
occupied-
This
that
is
everyone that is occupying.
Okay,
is
shut the fuck up. This is a stupid back and forth.
You said that everyone that is a military, everyone that is occupying is
If you
military.
continue to go and talk about what you're talking about, I'm just going to keep you muted, buddy. I just said
gonna
it's
go-
fucking stupid. I don't want to hear about it.
I gotta go anyway, so
Okay. Sweet.
I'm sure you have children to
Here,
unalive.
I'll help you out. There, I'll just remove you. I mean, from the comments, this guy's like, "That's not what Ehud Barak said." We just heard what the guy said. This is these Zios. I don't understand you people. I don't like.
So
there's
it's like
there's got to be something wrong with their fucking brains. This supremacy just eats them alive. They think they're God's chosen people. You can get fucked, man.
Well, some of them
Crazy.
do. I mean, we know that Theodore Herzl was an atheist. We know that's where the idea of an ethno-state originated, and Jewish, this global Jewish diaspora as an ethnicity came from Theodore Herzl because he wanted to live in Palestine. And he was an atheist, he wouldn't have been accepted. So this idea of this global diaspora somehow all being from the promised land, they have a right to return. Yeah, I mean, but in reality, we know this is not a religious war. They get people to act on it. They get the masses to engage based on religious extremism. But at the end of the day, we know everything in Palestine is about land and resources. It's about power and control. It's about supremacy. It's about extreme. It all comes down to extremism, right? Whether it be,
I mean, it's just another form of European
supremacy.
colonialism. That's what
Exactly.
Israel is. That's all it is. And that's why they hate Ethiopian Jews. They treat Ethiopian Jews like shit because they don't like black people. You got fucking Jake Lang who went and stroked off on the fucking wall in Israel, going out there, Heil Hitler and shit and talking about the N word and this, that, whatever. They don't like anybody that isn't white. That's
Well, maybe
that's
he'll
what I'm
have
going
a
to say.
change of opinion since he was dragged out of the crowd by a Somalian man and then transported away by a
Trans woman.
person.
Yeah.
Trans person of color. Fuck out of here.
Right. Yeah, no, that shit was wild. Matter of fact, I should probably play that again. I played it earlier. I don't know if you were here. when
That's like my hope core for this week.
Yeah, let's. He's not going to change. I think that guy is a paid agitator. I think his goal is to piss people off, and it was working. I mean, they took the bait. Is at some point you've got to ignore this shit because it becomes so obvious that it's just purposeful rage bait bullshit.
Go back, APAC. Go back. That's the APAC building right there. White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers.
I mean, that's this guy. And then fast forward to the guy that saved his ass. Right here. This guy saved his ass. Like, bro.
Hey, go, bro. Go. Just go. Just go. Let him go, y'all. Let him go.
And there's even a video. Matter of fact, I'll play that real quick. There's a video of him, like, when that black guy first starts to like help him out. Jacob's pushing this dude away. Watch him. Look at that. Look how scared he is. But look at him. See, he's pushing that guy away. Like, I don't know. But see, this is that guy's an Israeli plant, as far as I'm concerned, because we got pictures of this dude going and kissing the wall here. You
want to hear a theory of mine?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Nick Fuentes is an Israeli plant. He is a psyop.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
It's interesting, like Tucker Carlson, Miss Rachel, Thank You Gar, all these people nominated for Anti-Semite of the Year, but Nick Fuentes somehow not on the list.
Right. Yeah, even though just yesterday I played a video. Matter of fact, let me see. I may have just had the tweet up. They were in the fucking back of this like limo truck or whatever, saying Heil Hitler, singing Yee's song. Heil Hitler.
Well, just like they use anti-Semitism as a defense mechanism, they're also using it as an engagement mechanism. A lot of young Jews worldwide, especially in America, though, they want them to feel like there is this anti-Semitism to drive them to Israel because that's the only safe place for them. So They allow a certain amount of
everybody
anti-Semitism.
hates you.
It's why they worked with the Mustache Man. We know, like the Levant affair, they were staging T attacks on Jewish groups leading up to the HCOS to make them feel scared.
Yeah, I mean, hell, there's a fucking, I just showed that coin. It had the Star of David on one side and the fucking swastika on the other side of this coin. Now,
do you know where that came from? 1938, Adolf Eichmann visited Palestine and they gifted him that coin.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I just, Israel to me is one of the biggest problems we face as a world. I think it's a global issue. I think they are a global problem.
Yeah, the Zionism is the disease of humanity.
Yeah,
literally,
and just really supremacy in general. But they've been so good at what they do that they're a bigger problem than your average fucking just white supremacist,
Well, they have money. That's what they have.
Yeah, and power and blackmail. I mean, when you're willing to grape children in order to get something compromise on somebody.
Interesting. You should bring that up. I encourage you to go to the B'Tselem website real quick and pull up the report that came out 2 days ago. It's called Living in Hell. It should be the first thing that comes up from the B'Tselem homepage. And we can go through it together because this is
the
wild,
Israeli
wild
prison
report.
system. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. They just released a new report 2 days ago, I believe, or yesterday on the 20th.
All right. So are we doing reporting over it, or do you want me to just read from the quotes or go through the actual report
I don't
itself?
know. If you want to go through it, there's a lot of great information. It covers so many, like every paragraph.
Well, it's really long, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to go through it here. I'll have to look at it and then talk about it like on another live or something. But
yeah, no. I encourage you to do that. But some of the if you look at the children section, I think that's only like 2 paragraphs.
Children.
I want to say it's like page 5 or 6. It's a couple pages in.
As of September 2025, let's see here. I'll pull it up on the screen. 350 minors are being held by Israel, a report submitted by Defense for Children International Palestine to the CAT in November 2025, based on 325 affidavits collected from Palestinian prisoners who were minors from the West Bank, found that 74% of the incarcerated minors suffered violence, 26% were interrogated under conditions of pressure, and 21% were placed in solitary confinement for 2 days or more as a means of pressure during interrogation. Walid Ahmed, a 17-year-old Palestinian who was held at Megiddo prison, died as a result of starvation and denial of appropriate medical treatment. Ahmed is the first minor to die in Israel incarceration facility since 7th October 2023. Israel is still holding his body as of January 2026. You notice they didn't say how many had died in facilities prior to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Humiliation, verbal abuse. Let's see. During the interrogations, the interrogators tried to persuade me to work with them. They promised me new clothes and food, but I refused. They told me they had killed my entire family, which had a very deep effect on my feelings. I wanted to die. Wow. That's so fucking a father of 5. Because our hands were tied very tightly the whole time. The zip ties wore away the skin and flesh at my wrist. It bled all the time until at some point the bones in both hands were exposed. It was sharp pain all the time. When my condition got worse, the soldiers took me to a place where a female doctor treated me. It took her a whole day to drain a lot of infected blood and blood clots from my fingers using only the most basic medical equipment. These people are gross.
Yeah, the Raqefet wing, too, is the underground wing. That's really interesting. They don't even get any daylight down there. They reopened it after Al-Aqsa flood to hold people. There's a lot of testimony of really horrific grape and SA, multiple using objects to grape, setting dogs on people. They have testimonies. The BBC has reported on it. It's just disturbing because they try to moral launder and manufacture consent. Oh, they're all teased. Like they're in a prison. You have them surrounded. They are no longer a security threat.
Yeah, right here.
What's the point of raping them?
This is a father of 5. During the torture, one of the soldiers raped me. He shoved a wooden stick into my anus, left it there for about a minute and pulled it out. And then he shoved it back in even harder and I screamed. After a minute, he pulled the stick out again and told me to open my mouth and push the stick back into my mouth and forced me to lick it. One of them, the guard, sat on my back, another trod on my head, and the third tried to push something hard into my anus. I tried to clench my muscles and resist, but they managed to push it in. The pain was horrific, and I screamed, but they repeated that 6 times. Then I felt the pour some kind of liquid on my backside. I don't know what it was. All 3 of them laughed and jeered while abusing and raping me. This is a 46-year-old father of 6. Yeah, at the SDE Taman facility, I went through the hardest days of my life. I'm still suffering from severe trauma. They held me naked and soldiers set dogs on me that attacked me. They beat me on the penis, tied it with the plastic cord, and caused swelling and bleeding. It's
vile. It's 17 pages of terror. Straight terror. These people are imprisoned most of the time being held without charges. If you scroll up to the first page, I think it'll give the stats on how many were detained, where they were from, and what they were being held on. And I think like of the 10,000, 7,000 had no charges.
This is crazy, y'all. Let's see here. 84 Palestinian prisoners and detainees, including one minor whose identities are known, died in Israeli prisons. Testimonies from a released prison indicate a grave pattern of sexual violence in detention facilities and prisons, ranging from threats of sexual assault through forced stripping to actual sexual assault, beatings to the genitals causing severe injuries. Detainees and prisoners continue to be subjected to frequent institutionalized organized violence and abuse, including electric shocks, use of tear gas, stun grenades, burning by extinguishing smokes on their bodies, pouring boiling liquids on them, firing of rubber-coated metal bullets, beating with batons, and setting dogs on them. Let's see. According to the quarterly detainees report, The IPS was holding 10,863 detainees, Palestinians classified by the Israeli regime as security prisoners. Of the 7,425 were residents of the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. 2,931 were residents of the Gaza Strip, and 507 were citizens of Israel. Among these inmates, 3,251 were defined as administrative detainees, Palestinians imprisoned without trial and without the opportunity to mount a defense against allegations. 1,492 were defined security convicts, which are Palestinians serving prison sentences handed down by a court. 2,623 were defined as unlawful combatants, Palestinians from Gaza held without trial, and 3,227 were defined security detainees. According to the report, 350 of the Palestinian inmates were minors and 48 were women. Fucking gross, y'all.
Yeah. And that kid, that 17-year-old who passed away, Walid Ahmad, he actually passed away right in front of, what's his name? The American kid that they just released, Mohammed. Hold on.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting shit, y'all. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. You know, that behavior we're seeing, you know, displayed in the fucking Epstein files and all of the complaints and shit that those people have done. I mean, there's not so much distance between Epstein and Israel.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was working with them.
As was Ghislaine's fucking dad too.
Yeah. Mohammed Ibrahim. He was a 15-year-old U.S. citizen from Florida. His cousin, Saif Masalat, had been unalived a month before in the West Bank by settlers who then prevented the ambulance from reaching him. But then Mohammed Ibrahim went over. He was 15. They broke into his house in the middle of the night where he was staying. They took him to administrative detention in February 2025 under the accusations of rock throwing. They gave him documents in Hebrew to sign, and when he didn't sign him, they threatened to beat him. So he signed the papers because he's 15. And he had no contact with his family until Thanksgiving when he was released. February to Thanksgiving, a U.S. citizen being held, he lost 85 pounds and had scabies covering his entire body.
Let me tell you, I had scabies once as a child. That is fucking brutal. It is absolutely brutal. Yeah, they're like little mites that get under your skin and like burrow out. Fucking itches so bad, like you can't sleep. We had to, I remember we'd wake up in the middle of the night and take scalding hot showers because that was like the only way. And then it turns out there's a cream, you know, we ended up spending like 6 months dealing with this shit. And then when we finally went to a doctor, because we didn't have health insurance, you know, they just went to a doctor. It's a fucking cream. That shit was gone in like a week. I was so pissed at my parents. You know, because
that's the wild thing to me. These are manufactured conditions. This is not a third world country that you go to prison and it's awful because it's a third world country. This is a first world democratic quote unquote state because you know
we're a moral country,
most moral in the world, but like we have other reports of people being graped with batons that are covered in pig's blood because it's against their religion to consume pork.
Yeah. I fucking just I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the scabies, guys. It was fucking torture. It really was. And we didn't know what it was until, you know, like 6 months later, all of us had something on our body, you know. It's pretty torturous if you've never had it. It's pretty bad. Now, Tommy, do what?
Well, you couldn't go to the doctor, and like if you all had it, like why didn't y'all go to the doctor immediately?
Well, let me just give you an idea of how poor we were. We lived in a tent on the river for a year of my life, if that tells you anything. So we didn't have any money. There was no health insurance. and we lived way out in the fucking middle of nowhere in a little bitty town with, a local doctor, which we ended up going to. I don't know what prompted them to finally go and just eat the cost of it, but thank God they did. Yeah, it was it was pretty rough. I was so pissed though, that cream, because within just like a day or two, the itching started to go away. And within a week or so, it was all gone. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. We've dealt with this for this long. Shit like that should be free. Stuff that you can give to other people should be free. Because I think what happened was my brother had borrowed somebody's jacket. And I think that's where we ended up getting it. Was from this jacket that he, got from somebody else's house. I don't, it was like
I thought it was passed by like human contact, like intimate human contact.
I don't think so. No? Scabies? No, I don't think so. I mean, God, it's been years since I looked it up. Let's see. How does scabies spread? Prolonged skin-to-skin contact. So, yeah, the jacket, if you wear somebody's clothing. Let's see. It can also occur via shared items like bedding, towels, and clothing. Spreads rapidly in crowded settings like nursing homes, schools, or child care centers due to frequent close contact. You can't get scabies from pets. Yeah, fucking terrible. Anyway, I brought you up, but I am wrapping up. The show is over at 1, and it is 1. But if you wanted to add something, you're welcome to.
Oh, no, liberal loudmouth. I do a podcast myself, Tommy Nation Politics podcast, and I've been kind of like admiring you from afar, seeing what your positions are. I'd like to definitely elaborate on those when you have time, if you like anytime. So. No,
I appreciate that. You're welcome to send me a message or whatever. Yeah,
heard. Awesome. Hey, Rando.
Yeah, good to see you. Sorry about the timing, but I'll be on tomorrow at 9 a.m. too. You're welcome to come up then as well, or just shoot me a message. We'll chat.
I'll probably do both. See you later.
All right, man. All right, sounds good. And Rando, thank you for being up here. I appreciate it as always.
Always. Thank you for having me.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, though. I'll go ahead and drop you. Thank you very much. And guys, to all of you that are supporting the show, I really appreciate everybody. Really, the support, the gifts. Especially the targets. Me trying to, get them on my head. I don't know what that's called. The little arrow thing. I think that's funny. But I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, and I hope everybody's there. And hopefully, we don't start the show off with a violation like we did today. We'll see how it goes. TikTok is weird, but tomorrow I think is the day they're going to finalize the sale. So who fucking knows? I may go in there and my account's gone because Israel is taking over, and we'll see how that works. Anyway, guys, we'll catch you tomorrow. And if you would like, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, become a subscriber, and then you'll get notified whenever I go live. All right, guys, we'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.